Been a season full of challenges.
That motor is gone in that 2 car.
It's some of the toughest racetracks of all shapes and sizes across the country. But today the ARCA Re Series drivers face a test like no other. Today it's the biggest, fastest track of them all. Today, it's Talladega. This is a race where both fans and drivers alike hold their breath. It's about the draft, about having friends, and about being in the right place at the right time. Talladega can be cruel to even the most prepared, and a win here doesn't come easy. Today, all eyes are on one of the most diverse and impressive fields in series history. 250 of the most intense miles of the season are about to begin. Are you ready?
I'll tell you, we're ready. It's the ARCA Re-Max 250 on speed. The ARCA Re-Max Series, just 2 events remain in the 2007 season, and this is the big one, Talladega Superspeedway. 41 cars about to make their way out onto the racetrack. Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Allen alongside of Phil Parsons. And Phil, I tell you what, today very exciting, especially for one driver. We have Dario Franchitti in the lineup today, our most recent Indy 500 winner.
Amazing, and an IRL champion. There's Dario Franchitti's car right there. You can see him taking the checkered flag at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indy 500. A little bit of moisture on the racetrack, but nonetheless, there he is drinking the milk.
The celebration for him, as well as another open wheeler. Scott Speed will be in the lineup today. And so one of the most diverse and talented fields we've seen in the ARCA Re-Max Series in a long time. And yesterday when qualifying took place, Scott Speed was able to get in the car, jump out there and run around the racetrack. And Dario Franchitti was able to post a very impressive time early on out in the track.
He was on the pole for a good long while, and his teammate BRYAN comes along and knocks him off the pole. BRYAN does win the pole for this ARCA Re-Max race.
Wendy Venerini has caught up with Dario.
Dario Franchitti making his debut here in the ARCA Re-Max Series. First of all, give me your little, what do you think so far of stock car racing?
It's a lot to take in. It's been a lot of fun. Yesterday was the first time I'd even sat in a stock car. Went up to turn 3 there and just was starting to feel it out, and done about 30 laps now. So I'm just learning. It's just every lap something new. Ran in the draft this morning, but it's fun.
I know the draft is quite scary, and you'll be going to the back today after qualifying 6th, 8th, and happy hour because of an engine change. Are you worried about that draft?
Yeah, it's, as I say, completely different to the draft in an Indy car. The cars move around a little bit more, but I'm here to learn. So in a way, it's good that I'm starting at the back, and hopefully I can get up the front eventually and learn on the way.
All right, good luck, Dario, and keep in mind his teammate Brian CLAUSON also going to the back of the field today.
For 18-year-old Brian CLAUSON, it's a different challenge today at Talladega. He's had a handful of ARCA Re-Max Series starts, but today he qualified first. Brian, what will be the goal today for you and your team?
You know, the biggest goal today is to, just get learn in the draft and get used to using the draft, and different ways to work it. Really, this is this is a big race for us to prepare for Daytona next year in the Busch car, and so we're going to use this day to learn and try and feel ourselves out or feel our way around the draft. And we got a good drafting partner now. We have to go to the back, so. Me and Dario both have to go to the tail, so we have a drafting partner back there, so I think we'll be all right.
Brian, as a kid growing up just north of Indianapolis, what's it like to have a teammate that has won the Indianapolis 500?
It's pretty incredible, and to think that at 18 years old you get to be giving advice to Dario Franchitti on how to run a stock car. So pretty cool, and Dario's an awesome guy, and we've been on a long road grade all weekend, and I think you're going to see the target number 42 and the number 40 Memorex Dodge hook up and go to the front.
And I tell you what an impressive, I guess you would call him a rookie, Dario Franchitti coming in here, and then his teammate, obviously, BRYAN CLAUSON up on the pole. This is a really impressive field and Phil. But, I mean, you've won a race at this racetrack. What is it going to take for these guys to not only learn but be successful on the track?
Well, that's where it's going to come in. They have 250 miles, 94 laps. So, what they need to do for the first 3/4 of this race is to learn what their car does in traffic and where their car wants to be and how it sucks up and things like that. So it's a big learning experience. We heard Dario talk about he's here to learn. That's what he's here for. But he's a competitor. When he gets down towards the end of the race and he's in contention, he's going to go for this win, just like all these other guys. But what a tremendous field of drivers we have here and teams. We have driver development teams from all over the Nextel Cup Series, and you can see these are 21 of the first timers that we have here at Talladega. But again, a lot of experience and a lot of talent in this list of 21 people. You've got a Childress car, you've got a couple Ganassi cars, Roush car, Bill Davis cars. All the Nextel Cup teams just about are represented here in this field.
Yeah, and we don't want to just obviously touch on the fact that there are first-timers here, but we've also got an impressive field of veterans with Frank Kimmel. Michael McDowell is considered a veteran. He ran here a year ago, and those two are still in a very tight points battle.
Yeah, 140 points separates these two guys. 200 points available for the win. Nobody got any qualifying point bonus here for this race of those two guys. So anything can happen. We saw Frank Kimmel have about a 40-point lead, and they went to one race, and he ended up with a 200-point lead out of that race. So anything can happen, especially here at Talladega.
You talk about Frank Kimmel, our points leader. He was a little bit earlier before he climbed into the car, able to talk with Jim Trado. Jim?
For point leader Frank Kimmel today, multiple things on the agenda. He's already knocked out that elusive Superspeedway victory with this very same race car last year. But Frank, with all the variables, what is the approach for today?
I think it's going to be stay out of trouble. It's going to be an exciting race. I hope not. I hope it's not too exciting. But this Ford Fusion's running really good, and I think we have a tremendous ability to get up front. The car's really passing well and stuff. So got a lot of young kids out there running fast. So we'll see what comes up.
And Frank Kimmel's arch nemesis, Michael McDowell, not the fastest car, but he did race here last year at Talladega before he became a full-time rookie this season.
Frank Kimmel won here a year ago. What does it take? Well, you've got to be able to conquer 94 laps, 250 miles around this big super speedway. 45 to 55 laps is our pit window. We'll be back with more racing right after this. Talladega, Alabama. Anything can happen here. It's the ARCA Remax 250, Talladega Superspeedway. And Phil, obviously, we're going to see some 2, 3, and sometimes 4 wide racing around this racetrack.
Well, we really will, because that's what this racetrack lends itself to. So wide, so smooth with this new paving job. You can see all the winners we've had this year in the ARCA Remax Series, and we may add another name to that list at the end of this day.
It wouldn't surprise me, because anyone on the racetrack right now really has a chance. I mean, it's that type of a racetrack where you throw drafting into the mix. You just never know what's going to take place on the racetrack.
And one of the big reasons are the restrictor plates. These cars will have a 7/8 restrictor plate, laser cut 7/8 restrictor plate, very, very consistent from the very first plate they make to the very last plate they make. And that's why these cars are so competitive, because this racetrack was built for speeds up over 200 miles an hour. We qualified here back in the late 80s at over 210 miles an hour, but then the car started flying around.
Yeah.
And we had, NASCAR decided, and certainly the ARCA Remax officials also concurred, that we have to make sure we keep the cars on the ground. So we had to slow the speeds down to do that. So these restrictor plates have been around for 20 years, and they're here to stay. But right now, that's why the draft is so important here, because these cars could really run faster on the racetrack.
Right, the ARCA Remax Series starting grid is rolling across the top of the screen. You mentioned about the speeds of qualifying here. Wendy Venturini, I think you know somebody who's gone the fastest in an ARCA car here.
Yeah, Michael Annett has had 3 prior starts in 2007, and today making his 4th start in ARCA of this season. Now, he's had all top 10s up until now. He qualified 2nd for this race. He opted not to go out in happy hour just to avoid the big one. But right now, guys, I want to talk about the rain. That's the big story. It started to rain over turns 1 and 2. It is raining pretty hard in pit stall number 1, where I'm positioned in BRYAN CLAUSON's pit stall. I think it's bad enough to stall the start of this race, and reports from Michael Annett, he thinks that it will pass over. It looks like it's just over 1 and 2 and part of pit road. Hopefully this will pass over quickly.
Well, maybe it's just right. And actually, before we move too much further, Wendy, I teed you up perfectly there. Your dad has the track record here in qualifying. I thought you were going to mention that.
Yeah, I know, but you know, I don't talk about my family. You did tee me up, and I didn't take advantage of it.
All right.
But yes, 205 miles an hour back in 1987. I was very, very young back then.
Yeah, very fast here. We take a look at who we're going to ride along with today.
That's Brian Silas right there, the Shell Rotella T, Nortrax Chevrolet, the new owner of the Rockingham Speedway, North Carolina Motor Speedway. Andy Hillenberg is the owner of that car right there.
We'll also ride along with Justin South. He's in the number 59. He starts in the 36 spot, so he's going to have some drafting help to get him up toward the front.
Billy Leslie's going to start from the 18th position. Billy's driving the Titan Tires and Wheels Ford. Father Tracy Leslie is a former ARCA Remax Series champion. Billy won a race earlier this year, I believe at Winchester.
Yep. Got a few cars that are going to the rear and big names that actually have to move to the back. Brian CLAUSON, who was on the pole, Dario Franchitti up front, Brian Silas and Gabby DiCarlo, they will all have to go to the back because of either unapproved changes or adjustments made to the cars after qualifying.
Yeah, both Ganassi cars found something wrong with the oiling system of the cars, not the oil, but the oiling system, so they decided to change engines, err on the side of caution, even though they were going to give up great starting positions. And what a field of cars we had here for this race.
Over 57 cars were here to attempt. Check out the names. Kerry Earnhardt, 4 wins in this series, and he had to go home. Landon Castle, who drove a Hendrick Motorsports car, or an entry here, and obviously they had some problems with their transmission, and it didn't help them in qualifying, and so they did not make the race. We're seeing one car duck onto pit road right now. Jim Trado, what's going on pit road?
Well, it is actually sunshine now, and the water has quickly evaporated down pit road as the cars come down. They're, again, under pace laps, as Wendy mentioned. It may be raining further. This track is so big. It's Erin Crocker coming down pit road now with a signal of 1 to green. She's coming down, obviously, unexpectedly. That team itself is now just topping off fuel, so they're giving up early track position for what could be a run to about halfway for a one-stop race. Wendy?
And just to follow up on Erin Crocker, she currently leads Frank Kimmel by over 100 points in the Super Speedway Challenge points. Now, that title has never been won from a female. And how do they get that points title? Well, it's accumulation of points from all Super Speedway events this year. She leads it. Looks like she's going to win it. It all comes down to today. Right now, she hit pit road, but we do know she was fastest in happy hour shows. She will be pretty good in the draft, guys.
Yeah, Erin always runs well when she runs a limited schedule here in the ARCA Remax Series, but she did run enough of the Speedway races, obviously, to qualify and lead that Super Speedway Challenge. So she's got her work cut out for her, though. That guy, the guy she's trying to stay ahead of, knows how to get around this racetrack.
Yeah, Frank Kimmel obviously has been the winner of the Super Speedway Challenge before. Was looking to win that again in 07 along with everything else, and it seems as though he's found a few more competitors this season in more respects than just the Super Speedway Challenge. He's got to run decent here. He doesn't have to win. He doesn't have to go out there and set a blistering pace, but he's got to run well enough that he can go into Toledo without anyone looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, he's here to win. Frank is here to win this race because, you know, he's got an all-time win record that he's going after too. Iggy Katona holds that record, and Frank is now second past Jack Bowser, I believe, last year. So you see the 2 Ganassi cars going to the back, the 40 of Brian CLAUSON, the 42 of Dario Franchitti. But Erin Crocker, you know, just decided to top off because she was already at the back. She did not have a very good starting position, and they're hoping to be able to run this race at least on possibly 1 pit stop. We saw the pit window somewhere between 45 and 55 laps. This is a 94-lap race, so, you know, do the math, and you have a potential of only making 1 pit stop here.
Again, the field continues to roll around the racetrack. Jim Trado.
Another new face in the world of open wheel racing will be racing in this race today and for the full 2008 season. Scott Speed came down here and tested 10 days ago with Eddie Sharp Racing. They made the announcement yesterday. Scott Speed from Toro Rosso to ARCA Remax Series Racing will run a full schedule in 2008 in a Red Bull Toyota. That announcement yesterday. Big news, it'll be the 2 cars. So Michael McDowell's number and the points, more importantly, will go to Scott Speed for 2008.
Right behind Scott Speed, we're riding along with Frank Kimmel, he'll start in the 9th spot. And again, well, this is actually a little bit different of a paint scheme that we've seen the last few times on Speed, where he's had the old Matt Kenseth car, which was black and gold.
Awfully good at getting ready to go green here. Business is going to pick up now for 94 laps.
Green flag flies. The Talladega 250 for the ARCA Remax Series is underway.
By the way, that was Kenny the Snake Stabler that waved the green flag for these ARCA Remax guys.
Spectacular.
Colin Brown now, because of Bryan Clauson moving to the back, actually started this race from the pole, and you see him side by side with the 28 of Michael Annett.
Michael Annett very strong in practice yesterday. Qualifying with a good qualifying effort. Going to take the early lead, and Colin Brown will duck in behind him.
You see that yellow line there? That is out of bounds. Even in ARCA Remax Series, you cannot improve your position by going under that yellow line that is all the way around this racetrack.
2 and 3 wide, and very close for Scott Speed as he moves up the racetrack, gets in front of that 25. I believe the 25. That's the 15, actually.
Out of the same stable.
Yep.
That's Billy Venturini in
Billy
the 15.
Venturini.
They have a team car with Ryan Fisher in the 25. 3 wide going into turn number 1.
Michael Annett's going to lead the first lap at Talladega, first of 94 laps that have been completed. Scott Speed all the way down to the inside of the racetrack now. He hasn't figured out the line that he wants to follow around this racetrack. We start to see some single file racing up front.
Well, you need to try all the lines. You need to try the middle, you need to try the top, you need to try the bottom. You see a car inside that yellow line. Looks like there may be some problems. That's
Problems
the 20
with the
car
20.
right there. That's Bobby Santos, the third, with problems early.
And so as he rolls down on the inside of the racetrack, the field continues to move around the 2.66 mile super speedway of Talladega. They're dodging back and forth now as they line back up. Again, Michael Annett on the point. Just behind him, PHILLIP has moved up to second in that number 47. You will see them change positions regularly on this racetrack as they run so close together at such amazing speeds.
3 wide back about the 6th, 8th row. That looks like Mike Cicchetti in the 29 car. I love this shot here. I love this shot coming out the back. Look at them. They're going to make it 3 wide here. They could be 4 by the time they get to this corner.
They could be 5 and 6 wide. There's enough room on this racetrack. But it's Michael Annett on the inside who continues to lead that lower line. And then it's 4 wide through turns 3 and 4.
And no big surprise here. We thought we would see cars all over this racetrack. Dario Franchitti has made his way up into that pack. He is now in the lead draft. There's Dario right there in the 42 car, the target car. Going on the high side.
And what a pleasure to meet him earlier in the weekend. The most cordial gentleman I think I've ever run into, as far as he came up to us and was shaking our hands saying, hey guys, how are you? You know, this is great running here in the ARCA Remax Series. A lot of fun. And the Indy 500 winner from just a couple months ago.
Yeah, really excited to be here, and that's what's really neat. Obviously, they announced he's going to run a full season next year for Chip Ganassi in the Nextel Cup Series, and what a better way to get indoctrinated to this type of sport than running this ARCA race here.
Frank Kimmel now behind Michael McDowell. He's on his back bumper. Those are 1 and 2 as far as running into points. Chip Ganassi there.
Obviously watching this race with a great deal of interest. Bryan Clauson, the pole sitter, one of his cars won earlier this year. He has an ARCA Remax win under his belt.
Looking off the back of the port car as they line up behind them. The field moving around Talladega Superspeedway. Michael Annett out front. Speed coverage of the ARCA Remax Series from Talladega is presented by Remax. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. Brought to you by Just for Men. Stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. A lot of cars that are staying in the game here at Talladega, and they are real close on that racetrack. But the problems here with Bobby Santos III and number 20, they are looking like they're going to back it up and push it behind the wall.
Yeah, tough break for Bobby Santos. Good qualifying effort. 2-time pole winner this year. Looks like it's going to be a short day. There's Justin South right there. Another problem. He actually did not qualify because of an engine problem. They were changing engines, and obviously it looks like he's got terminal problems. But what a great race we have up front. There's Frank Kimmel. That is not for the lead of the race. That's back about the 7th position. 7th through about 35th.
You can throw a blanket over him. Kimmel on the inside. Hey, Wendy, what happened with Bobby?
Yeah, guys, it is terminal with Bobby Santos. An engine failure is what the team is telling me. Unfortunate ending and a quick ending to his day for Bobby Santos.
See this pack? It's somewhat of a second pack behind a group of 6 cars that are running single file out in front of them. So the top 6 have lined up behind Michael Annett. And then
Colin Brown. Scott Speed in his first ever stock car race is currently being shown in the 3rd position, and Josh Wise, we're used to seeing him run up front. He's being shown right now 4th, and PHILLIP McGILTON with a great run in 5th. And oh, by the way, Michael McDowell, our point runner-up right now, is running in the 5th position. 6th position.
6th position, and 2 spots back is Frank Kimmel. But again, that was that lap. Now we get to this lap, and you could pretty much switch them all around again.
Yeah, that big giant pack now has caught those 6 cars that drove away. You can't get away from people here. You cannot drive away. There's Billy Leslie's on board right there. Billy making his first start ever here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Young man with a very promising future. See Justin Allgaier, our most recent winner, was on his left in the 16 car.
Allgaier won at Salem a week ago. And again, we're winding down as far as races go. 2 remain. It's this race, and then the season concludes at Toledo next weekend. And again, the points race is extremely tight. You can't rule out Michael McDowell with 2 races to go. He was only back 140 points.
Absolutely not. We've seen a bigger point loss than that before. You see Frank right there. He's keeping an eye on Michael McDowell. He's about 18 inches behind him.
He may bump him a little bit here to make sure he stays in front of him so he can keep an eye on him. PHILLIP McGILTON on the outside there in that 47. You see the yellow stripe, the rookie stripe. You wouldn't think PHILLIP McGILTON would have a rookie stripe on there after this full season, but here at Talladega.
See Frank going to move it to the inside. They're going to try to help the 2 of Michael McDowell. Even though they're battling for the point championship, they will help each other during this race. You have a lot of friends, and you need friends when you're running at a place like Talladega.
Well, and there's Bryan Clauson, who's already made it up to behind Frank Kimmel. Clauson is up to the 8th spot. He had such a strong car. They actually had some problems with the oil system that sent him to the back, and so he has made his way all the way back up into the top 10 now, Wendy.
Well, Bryan Clauson, as you mentioned, made his way up to the top 10, Rick, but they want him to give it a little bit of air. They're directing him to stick the nose out there just a little bit to give him some clean air and help him as he works his way through traffic.
Clean air, is that critical here at Talladega, Phil?
Well, I want to be behind somebody. I want to be behind somebody, and I want to have somebody pushing me too. Michael Annett has done a terrific job here. Very little experience. He's only run just a handful, 3 times, I think, this year in the ARCA Remax Series. Sat in the pole for his first ever start at Iowa and finished in the 3rd position and been in the top 10 each and every race he's run this year.
There's Dario Franchitti in you see the big bullseye there, the target dodge that's moving to the inside line now.
We're going to give the inside a try. That's Tim Andrews, the 4 car on the outside. That's Cunningham Motorsports, Kerry Shearer owner.
Good run there for Dario. Wendy?
And Dario Franchitti has a good set of eyes up there. It's Tab Boyd, who is usually the spotter for Juan Pablo Montoya in the Nextel Cup Series. Tab Boyd is very clear on the radio with Dario, and he did a great job working Juan Pablo Montoya through his first start in the ARCA Remax Series at Talladega. So be it. Dario also has Tab Boyd as his spotter. And just want to mention on Bryan Clauson, he was running a little bit warm. That's why he was trying to get some clean air to the nose.
Run a little bit warm. Obviously, you want to keep the airflow into the front of these cars, but when you're running nose to tail and so close and sometimes bumping the car in front of you, it's difficult to get air in there.
Yeah, but that's one of the things that these guys will have learned this morning. They had a happy hour this morning for the ARCA Remax Series, which is pretty rare. Typically, they do an impound, but they had a happy hour, and that's when you try to adjust the tape and see how much air you take in, because you know that you're going to run in the draft. As you see Dario move to the inside of Chase Austin and Rusty Wallace's number 61 car.
Michael Annett continuing to run up front in that number 28. Joining us in the booth, Hermie Sadler. How are you today, my friend?
What's going on, guys? Glad to be here.
Well, I tell you what, we're watching a little bit of a race here at Talladega.
It's always a great race at Talladega, and these ARCA guys always put on a great show, and it's one of the races on the course of the weekend everybody wants to see. And I tell you, I was dodging a few raindrops coming up here in the golf cart, then in turns 1 and 2. So hopefully that stuff will stay away. These guys will put on a great show.
Yeah, they actually delayed the start 1 lap. They did 1 more pace lap because of the sprinkles. You see Michael McDowell, he was actually losing some ground on the outside. Now he's picked up PHILLIP McGILTON and Justin Marks in that 65 Crocs car for a little help.
Now we're seeing the 8 of Martin Mitchell moving out there in front of Michael McDowell, and maybe he'll help out a little bit as far as that outside line. See if they will start to move up toward the front. 2 distinct lines right now. We will see as many as 3 and 4 wide as they come out of turn number 2. Down the backstretch they go, and they continue to chase the 28 of Michael Annett. Colin Brown runs second. Scott Speed in the top 3. Green flag racing continuing here at Talladega Superspeedway. Michael Annett, Colin Brown, Scott Speed, your top 3. Josh Wise, Frank Kimmel, top 5 here at this Superspeedway, the final Superspeedway race of the 2007 season for the ARCA Re Series.
See Scott Speed now on the outside leading that pack. Frank Kimmel's moved up into 3rd position. Scott's going to move to the outside of him. He had a little help a few moments ago. Now they've spread out a little bit.
He's going to need help. Kimmel, with only 2 cars in front of him, our 2006 winner of this race, is looking to make it a repeat here.
Looks like you see something. It looks like he may have one of his center hood pins either loose, or maybe that's something that caught on that hood pin. Not sure about that. I don't see the front of the hood moving up and down, just that little tether or whatever that might be there.
Almost looks like a little tape potentially that might be stuck on that hood pin. Wendy?
Well, I've had a report on a hood pin, but it wasn't on Frank Kimmel. It was actually on Dexter Bean, who started back in 33rd. His left front hood hinge has come loose, and they are watching it, but they're also monitoring the water temperature. He's up to 255. And right behind him was Jason Hedleski. Hedleski radioed it, wanted to know why Dexter Bean wouldn't get in line. That could cause a problem in the draft, but right now Dexter Bean was running a little bit hot.
You know, it's amazing. We've got a report from Wendy that Jason Hedleski was complaining about Dexter Bean not getting in line. You'll get mad at 30 different people 30 different times in this race, won't you, Hermie?
Yeah, you can look at Bristol, a half-mile racetrack, and Talladega, 2.6 miles, and you better leave your feelings at home when you come to either one of these racetracks. But this is a great opportunity for these guys to get experience. The only way to get better is to get experience. And I'll tell you something else I noticed today, Phil, walking through the ARCA garage, these race cars are a lot better race cars than we've seen in years past with this ARCA division. A lot of guys, the Cup guys, moved to the car tomorrow. A lot of these guys bought and inherited cars that actually ran in this race probably this year in April, Cup cars. So the level of competition is as high as it's ever been in this series.
I was talking to the president of the ARCA series, Ron Drager, and he said this is probably the finest field of cars that he's ever seen in an ARCA rematch.
Well, it used to be, you know, tell it like it is, 4 or 5 years ago, there was 6 or 7 really good cars, and a lot of cars that were, you knew weren't going to be up to speed. They just didn't have the funding to get the equipment they needed. But right now, these guys, there's 20 cars out here, Phil, that can run up front and win this race.
There's that 40 car on the outside, right towards the back on the outside of that yellow car. That's our pole sitter, BRYAN CLAUSON. Remember, we saw him, what, 7th or 8th just a few moments ago. He's lost a number of positions. There they are, 3 wide in front of him. There's Tim McCready, the 31 on the inside. Ryan Fisher, is that Ryan Fisher or is that Billy Venturini in the 15 car?
Billy Venturini.
That's Billy Venturini leading the 2 of Michael McDowell. There's PHILLIP McGILTON, Justin Marks in that pink car in the middle.
And for all these guys, this is the best place in the world to get experience. You can't get this in qualifying trim. You can't even get this in happy hour practice because they do not race like this in happy hour practice. These guys are getting great experience on this racetrack right now.
Jim, what are you hearing down there on pit road about Martin Mitchell?
Well, just checking in with the driver who finished 2nd here at Daytona to start the season. It's the same Pontiac he drove there. They're reporting some high temps as well. Oil temp up to 275, Phil. Water temp 245. He's not going to be able to maintain that pace. You think that's why he's searching down low to get some clean air?
Yeah, I would not doubt that at all, Jim. That's why he's peeking out a little bit. You saw him peek his left front corner out a little bit from behind the 16 of Justin Allgaier. He needs to get some fresh air in that car till they can get to pit road and peel some tape off.
Well, Phil, this is another thing you cannot simulate in practice is what your car is going to get temperature-wise in a 3-car draft. If you're out there by yourself in a 2, 3, 4 car pack, you can get inside, outside. But if you're 3 wide in the middle and tucked underneath the back of somebody else, you probably hadn't done that for an extended period of time in practice. You will get more water temperature and oil temperature in this kind of situation than you did in practice.
And right now we're on the 19th of 94 laps. I'm fairly confident watching practice yesterday. and earlier today, not one car was out on the racetrack for 19 consecutive laps, especially not running in packs.
Well, you don't want to do that. I mean, you're scared to do that like we saw in Nextel Cup, guys. When your car's right at Talladega, anything can happen anytime on this racetrack, whether it be practice, qualifying, or racing. When your stuff's right, you want to keep it in the garage field.
Yeah, I was talking to Bill Kimmel, brother and crew chief for Frank Kimmel, and he said they ran about 10 laps this morning in happy hour. Their car was good. There's no sense taking any chances when the car's driving like you want it to.
They were out there to figure out their fuel mileage, make sure that they have everything, just shake it out a little bit because they'd already qualified.
Looked like a little contact right there involving the number 3.
Jeremy Clements.
Jeremy Clements, yeah, he looked like he got a little bit of a close situation. I'm not sure who that was that may have made contact with him, but strung out a little bit now. Mario Goslin, we haven't talked about him. He's up into the top 5.
Mario Goslin, always very good on the super speedways. Now, I want to throw this question out to both of you guys. You've raced here at Talladega. Michael Annett, Colin Brown, and Frank Kimmel running up front right now. Colin Brown has been right on the back bumper of Michael Annett this whole race. Is he in a comfortable position, or is he still kind of holding his breath going, okay, I got to hang on here?
Well, I think Phil will comment on this too, but he's doing exactly what he needs to do right now. What you want to try to do, these guys out front, is tell the spotters, tell everybody, stay in line. If they can stay in line and these other guys behind them are dicing up 2 and 3 wide, slowing each other down, those guys are in good shape to try to stay up front. No need to race right now. We see some contact right there.
Yeah, that's Eddie Mercer and James Finch's Miccosukee Gaming Resort Chevrolet overshot the pit. He needs to back up a little bit, but we saw some contact a few moments ago. I'm not sure if Eddie was involved in that or not, but you see a lot of damage to the right side of that car. Let's take a look back at that contact that involved Jeremy Clements here just a few moments ago going in turn number 1. See, right in the very front of that, you saw Jeremy Clements for just right there. That was Eddie Mercer right there, and Tim Andrews in the 4 car. I think that was right behind that earlier situation that we saw with Jeremy Clements in the 3 car.
Look, the 4 car just didn't know he was down there. He got down in the corner looking for that white line at the bottom of the racetrack, and the guy slid underneath him right there and made some contact.
Lining back up out front behind Michael Annett, Colin Brown, Frank Kimmel, Mario Goslin, and Max Dumouriez. They have made their way into the top 5. 2007 season has been exciting to say the least, as we have 2 races remaining. This one here, the Talladega Superspeedway, the ARCA Remax 250, and then we ended up with the short track of Toledo. A little bit slower on the racetrack was the 4 of Tim Andrews. We saw him make contact earlier with that 09 of Eddie Mercer.
Yeah, tough wreck for Tim Andrews. I saw his father, Paul, crew chief on this effort here, and look at Brian Clauson. Looks like his left sides were below that yellow line, Hermie. I don't know what the rule is there. It's supposed to be out of bounds, and he certainly did improve his position. You see Michael McDowell go way up to the outside in that 2 car.
Just have to catch it.
Yeah, these guys are back in the middle field where you really don't want to be. Those guys up front are doing a great job. It's what you always try to preach, especially the guys that don't have as much experience, is stay in line. These guys are riding just like they're riding down Interstate 20. But these guys behind them, 2 and 3 wide, these guys are dicing it up right there.
Dario Franchitti there in the number 42. Target Energizer, number 42 Dodge.
Dario's being shown in the 11th position right now. You see him 3 wide for about 6 rows back, right behind him.
Scott Speed right in the middle of that 3 wide, and the number 29, that Red Bull Toyota Tundra, Toyota Camry.
See Jeremy Clements with his left side below that yellow line.
Wendy, what's Scott Speed saying about this first effort here in the ARCA Remax Series?
Well, there was a move that happened on the racetrack that we didn't catch on our cameras at home, but the spotter said, well, that didn't really work out for us, but we learned our lesson. So Scott Speed and spotter all get the lesson here at Talladega with restrictor plate racing.
I think a lot of lessons are going to be learned.
I was just going to also add, Scott Speed was so excited to be running here at Talladega. He said, I have never had the chance to run wide open with the pedal all the way to the floor, max velocity. He said it has been super cool this weekend.
Hey, I tell you what, you caught it earlier. They are saying now that the 40, the 15, and I believe the 61 all have to give their positions
I think maybe
back.
the 31 of Tim McCready. You see them go below the line now. And ARCA Remax official said you cannot do that. So the 40, Bryan Clauson, the 15 of Billy Venturini, the 31 of Tim McCready will all have to back up and let those cars behind them that they passed.
Yeah, they got to give those spots back, and that's always a judgment call by the ARCA officials, similar to what NASCAR does. If you go below that yellow line to make a pass, or if somebody in front of you feel you're trying to make a pass, if somebody forces you below that yellow line, then you can also be penalized for that.
Bryan Clauson still trying to make up that difference that after being on the pole, having to start in the back. Wendy, is he talking on the radio quite a bit about having to make all these passes?
Yeah, Bryan Clauson wanted to know what happened there with the line. Brad Parrott came back and was just letting him know, if they told us we have to give the position back, we give it back. That's the way it is. Bryan Clauson having a little bit with that line right there, and you guys saw a better angle than I just did on that replay, so I didn't realize how close Bryan Clauson got to the line, but obviously ARCA Remax did not like it.
Yeah, he definitely went below the yellow line, and he brought Billy Venturini and the third car, 31 Tim McCready with him.
You know, they're very fortunate that they were only asked to give the spots back.
Right.
They very reasonably could have asked those guys to come down pit road, so very fortunate just to have to give those spots back.
We saw that last year in the Truck Series. Ty Bodine got penalized and actually black flagged for passing below the yellow line, and he was passing for the lead to come down to pit road.
It's Billy Leslie, and that's the vantage point that you see. And this is such an amazing racetrack, and the fact that it's so big, but at the same time you run so close together, people can't really comprehend the fact that they're doing 190 miles an hour.
You see the tall rear spoilers on these ARCA Remax cars. It makes it a little bit tougher to see through those cars. And back in the old day, Hermie, we were able to see through the back glass and the windshield of the car in front of us, and we actually could see, you know, on out in front of them. But right now it's a real difficult. This is a very tall 6.5-inch rear spoiler on these ARCA Remax cars.
Well, this television doesn't do it justice what these guys are going through. You can see these cars moving around in a racetrack a little bit. When you get 3 wide in the middle of a draft, the air is very, very noticeable, and it really takes a conscious effort on the part of the driver to hold that thing steady, especially in the middle of a 3 wide.
Again, Michael Annett continuing to lead. Colin Brown continues to follow, and we see debris on the racetrack. We're still under a green flag condition. They haven't thrown the, and now the yellow comes out.
Got to be a flat tire somewhere, right?
Our first caution of the day comes out. Debris on the racetrack. Now who is the tire that has gone down? Because that was definitely a tire.
Probably Tim Andrews, yeah.
All compounded by the contact he hit on the racetrack a few minutes ago at the bottom of the racetrack.
These teams will have the fenders so tight on these tires to maximize the minimal drag here that any little bump like that Tim Andrews got on the 09 of Eddie Mercer probably got a fender against the tire, and that's probably what caused this.
Aerodynamics obviously very key here at this racetrack. One of the other things obviously would be pit strategy as far as fuel mileage. Now we've only gone 30 of the 94 laps, so it doesn't look like anybody could make it if they would come in now on a 1 pit stop strategy.
No, I don't think so. Probably 50 to 55 laps are probably the tops on what people can go. So it's definitely going to be a 2 pit stop race. And right now we've gone over halfway of a fuel run, so there's absolutely no reason to stay out and not come down pit road.
I was going to say, everybody's probably looking forward to getting this caution, getting on pit road, getting these cars adjusted and settling back down and going back out and getting some more laps under their belt. But I would think you would see everybody, especially up front, on pit road.
Well, I'm guessing Michael Annett right now is saying, you know what? No, I don't want to come down pit road. He had only led 1 lap of racing prior to coming here to Talladega, and he's led every lap since the start of this one.
See if we can get an eye on where that debris came from. You see it just flying up in the middle of all these cars. I think it was probably already there, and then these cars ran over it. I was talking to Dario before the race today, and I was asking him if he practiced any pit stops during happy hour this morning. He said I did a couple times, and he said it's so quite different for him to make these pit stops. I said, well, normally here you would probably get a chance to make them under caution, which is not a big deal. But after we had run, 28 or 9 laps here before this caution came out, I'm thinking to myself, well, Dario may have to make his first pit stop under green.
And things really get exciting when you start making green flag pit stops, especially for guys that hadn't done it before, because you can win or lose a race just by getting on pit road in a timely fashion.
few of the drivers mentioned that they might try tire strategy as far as maybe coming in and only changing 2 tires or maybe no tires. And here they come onto pit road now. We would expect probably 4 tires out of everyone and fuel. And we see Frank Kimmel making his way into his pit stall early on. Jim Trado.
And it is race leader Michael Annett coming in, being coached to his pit stall by his crew chief John Lax. 4 tires is the call. The Hoosier radio is going on. The Pilot Travel Center's Toyota. They're telling him to hold the brake. Again, this is his first live pit stop on a super speedway. Annett now coming in for 4 tires. No other changes, just adding fuel. Get as much in the can. The second can is in. Let's go down to Wendy.
Brian Clauson making a stop in his pit area. Only 2 tires. A little bit of strategy by Brad Parrott. They call 2. Let's see if they stick with it. They are trouble on the right front. Trouble on the right front. Gonna pull a piece of tape off the grill, and now he's clear to go. I also will let you know Mario Gosselin having extreme trouble on pit road. They're trying to get the window net down on Mario Gosselin. He had overshot the pit, and I'm not quite sure. Let me follow up on Mario Gosselin. He is still stopped on pit road, guys.
We'll try to hear what that story is later. We see one of the wheels coming off, well, that they've taken off, and it made its way out into the infield area. I'm sure that will be a penalty that someone will have to incur. We see Mario Gosselin making his way off of pit road and back onto the racetrack. It almost looked like everyone was surprised that they had to come down pit road that time. We will shake out who is leading this race when we come back to Speed. Memorial Day weekend, Dario Franchitti, the 91st Indianapolis 500, and he caught the checkered flag. On lap 166, the heavens opened up, and after watching teammate Tony Kanaan lead for most of the day, it was Dario Franchitti who crossed the line as the race winner. That was Dario's first 500 victory and his 5th 500 start. How about the other Indy 500 winners who have been in the ARCA Re Series? Dario Franchitti, the most recent winner. Sam Hornish, Juan Pablo Montoya, Danny Sullivan, Roger Ward, Jimmy Bryan, Troy Ruttman, and Johnny Parsons Sr. All 500 winners that have run in the ARCA Re Series.
Pretty illustrious list right there.
Most definitely. Well, tomorrow, prepare for one of the most exciting endurance races of the year, the American Le Mans Series and the Petite Le Mans. Don't just watch the race, get in the driver's seat. Take a thrill ride with Speed Onboard Pass. The race is live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Log on to speedtv.com now. Keyword Acura. Get your free onboard pass presented by Acura.
Dario Franchitti was supposed to race in that race, but he's here instead.
Yeah, he's busy.
We're happy he's here. Let's see if we can talk to Dario. He's talking on the radio right now.
What's he saying?
I can't hear it. I'm trying not to hear it. Let's see if I can get in here.
Let's listen in.
Hey, Dario, this is Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. What do you think about your first 30 laps of stock car racing?
It's pretty exciting. It's just getting up to the front of there a little bit. I made a bit of a mess of that first pit stop, but the car feels really good, so hopefully we get the target dodge up front.
Looks like you tried to bottom, the middle, and the top, and it looked like the car would go anywhere you wanted.
Yeah, the car really would. I'm here to learn, so I was trying everything I could. Yeah, I'm getting experience here.
You made your way up into the top 10. Now you've fallen back a few positions, but we've got a long race to go. And look at the bright side. Probably going to have to make one more pit stop.
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully I'll make a better job of it than I did the last one.
All right, thanks. Good luck.
Pretty interesting to listen to a guy with that kind of experience, with that kind of racing resume, talking about getting experience and learning. And I messed up coming on pit road. I mean, it just goes to show you, regardless of your experience or talent level, once you start in stock car racing or move to any kind of racing, you start really basically over from square one, Phil.
There's Michael Annett, Hermie, the guy that was leading when we came down pit road, and looked like he was going to have a routine 4th tire stop. But you can see when they come around to the left front, his left front tire changer was not able to get the left front tire off. You see him pulling on the tire, then he has to reach down for the gun again to take that last lug nut that didn't quite get off, and then he gets the tire back on and away Michael goes. But he still came out in the 2nd position, so even after all that trouble, he still ends up with a pretty decent restarting position.
It looks like some of those guys are from Bill Davis Racing, but what happens something like that, Phil, you tell your guys, slow down, so go faster on pit road. Looks like he just got in a little bit too big of a hurry, and it done missed 1 or 2 lug nuts, cost you 3 or 4 seconds, but luckily in this case really only cost him 1 spot.
Josh Wise in that Napa Toyota Camry, currently running in the 4th spot, Wendy.
Well, good thing for Josh Wise that caution came out at the perfect time because his left front tire was blistered. At first they thought it was debris, but once they got the left front tire off and looked at it behind pit wall, Hoosier was looking at it and showed that it is a blistered tire. You see the cords and how badly damaged that tire is. Phil, that's something we're not used to seeing right now here at Talladega.
Boy, not at all, Wendy. And I think this is the exact same tire that the ARCA Remax cars ran here last year, and I don't recall any tire trouble whatsoever. So, you know, maybe there was an excessive amount of camber or something like that on that car. But Josh was doing a great job. He had a very competitive car, but hopefully that tire wear will get better as we get more rubber down on the racetrack.
It's been a long time since I've seen a tire like that at a place like Talladega. We haven't even, luckily, and it's been fun, we haven't even discussed tires since we've been here. It's been a story at other places, but here, not something you normally see.
In the field, all lines up. Only the lap down cars are able to move to the inside line.
The 09 is actually going to start from the point. That's Eddie Mercer. We saw him make that unscheduled pit stop, so he right now is on the tail end of the lead lap. He will try to stay in front of these leaders in case the caution flag comes out. Remember, no lucky dog in the ARCA Remax series, so he's going to have to earn that lap back.
No free pass, and right now Colin Brown is trying to figure out how he can get out in front of this car and get clean air, and at the same time have the help from Michael Annett right behind him, who Colin Brown had pushed all the way around this racetrack for the first 30 laps.
Well, it sure didn't take long for these guys to get 2 and 3 wide, Rick. They went through turns 1 and 2, and looks like these guys sprayed out. Jeremy Clements got up on the outside, started a second groove already, got 2 by 2. That's behind the first 3 guys right there.
There's Frank Kimmel, moves to the inside of Jeremy Clements. He's following Josh Wise in that Napa Auto Parts number 22 out of Eddie Sharp Racing Stables. Frank's got a lot of experience at this racetrack. Run here a number of times, obviously Daytona a number of times. He knows how to draft.
And we listen, a lot of times we would ride on board and we listen to the engines as they feathered the accelerator, whatever. Nothing. You're going to hear a constant rhythm the whole time because they're always in the gas.
Especially the guy out front. Now, if you're second, third, fourth place in line, and guys do it different ways, Phil. When you're in second and third in the draft, some guys, when you suck up behind somebody, some guys may get out of the gas a little bit. Some guys will leave their foot on the accelerator to the floor and tap the brake a little bit, like drag the brake a little bit. Different guys do different things. Personally, I think it's better to leave your foot in the gas and tap the brake. Seems to keep your momentum going a little bit better.
Yeah, we were talking earlier on speed during our qualifying show and talking about drafting the trucks. It's a little bit different there because they have over 600 horsepower with the tapered spacer that they have. These cars only have about 400 horsepower the way they're racing with the restriction they have. So it's a little easier with a truck to recover that speed with all that extra horsepower.
Yeah, I think when the truck, you got that power, you can get out and get yourself out of trouble, get back in the gas, and you got that feel, what we call throttle response with these cars, and as far as the Next Step Cup cars or the Busch cars when they come here, you just don't have that throttle response. So anytime you take your foot out of the gas, it's going to hurt you.
Michael McDowell dropped way back to the 16th spot. Jim, how's he doing in the back?
Leaving pit road, Michael McDowell got in the back end of the 47 of Philip McGilton. McGilton ended up pitting 3 times because the damage was that bad to his left rear quarter panel on the SI Performance number 47. That may mean big trouble for Michael McDowell if the right front headlight, as you guys know, aero is so critical here. I just checked in with Frank Kimmel's pits. They're very happy. His crew chief and brother Bill Kimmel said, we just changed 4 tires. We can pretty much go anywhere we need to. We've not had any temperatures issues as well. So points implications, McDowell on the exit of that pit stop got in the backside of the 47, so we'll see if that continues to be a trouble spot for the 2 car.
And as we hear potential problems for the 2, the 46 hugging that yellow line. He's got Josh Wise breaking the air in front of him. And he looks like he's running in a comfortable spot.
Yeah, Josh moved to the inside of Michael Annett, who was running a second in that 28 Pilot Toyota. Josh moved to the inside, going to bring Frank Kimmel with him, trying to take over that second spot.
Eddie Mercer still in front of the 99 of Colin Brown, but it's Colin Brown who leads this field at Talladega Superspeedway. 2 different leaders. It was Michael Annett and Colin Brown. Brown out front now. Welcome back, ARCA Remax 250, Talladega Superspeedway. We've completed nearly 40 laps of the 94 scheduled.
These guys right now running 190-mile-an-hour pace laps right now, Phil.
All together, we're hearing that Brian CLAUSON may be having a problem, Wendy.
Yeah, he's trying to get to the inside groove. The low oil pressure light came on. And right now, Brad Parrott's trying to just get him to the bottom, get him to the back, and come down pit road and check it out.
And while all that's happening for Brian CLAUSON, we're seeing a lot of steam roll out of that 6 of Dexter Bean. At least we were. Looks as though it's stopped now, and that could be a problem too.
The problem is when it stops, it means there's no water left.
Yeah.
And that situation usually doesn't get better. By the way, you see Dexter right up behind the 0-4 of Eric McClure.
Yeah, I think that temperature will come up, Phil. They're pushing that water out. All of a sudden, the water temperature goes back down. And you say, hey, I'm okay. But the problem is,
it's
no more water there.
It's measuring air then. Dexter's going to move to the outside. That may cool that off a little bit. Side by side for the lead. Colin Brown on the inside. Michael Annett on the outside.
Billy Venturini is going to jump in behind that 32 or 28 of Michael Annett as Colin Brown tries to hold him off on the inside.
How about give a call to Eddie Mercer, too? He's a lap down, but he's really working the draft to a T right now, inside, outside, keeping his car in position to get that lap back if the caution comes out.
Yeah, he knows he has to be at the very front of the field to get that lap back. Now Michael Annett's going to move to the outside. Going to try to bring Billy Venturini with him.
That 28 is really strong today. We've seen Michael Annett lead out front, and now with a little bit of help from Billy Venturini behind him, it looks like Michael Annett wants to go to the point.
Yeah, Dexter Bean is bringing that outside line up through there too. Jeremy Clements is pushing him on the outside.
Yeah, Eddie Mercer's doing a good job of playing off the first 2 rows. And if he gets 3 wide behind him, he's going to have a hard time picking the right line. And what he's trying to do, Phil, as you know, he's trying to catch a draft off those next 2 guys behind him and try to keep out in front. And he'll move to the outside to the inside. Whoever's coming up behind him, he'll pull in front of him to get that draft.
Yeah, he wants to keep those guys side by side, but unfortunately, Michael Annett is going to be able to take over that top spot. He's going to drive to the inside in front of Eddie Mercer.
That puts Eddie Mercer a lap down. We've seen some bump drafting. Earlier, it was Frank Kimmel, Tim McCready. McCready comes up behind Frank Kimmel, gives him a little tap.
Or a lot of a tap there.
And really, as a driver, I'm sure you don't want to see it getting into a corner.
Well, he was okay right there, but when you have your problem, when somebody gives you that kind of a tap, as Phil said, in the center of the corner, that's when it really can cause problems. Right there, it really does help your momentum. We talked about throttle response. Anytime you get a little boost from the back, it'll really help you get that speed up. As long as you don't do it when you got wheel in the car, that's when you can cause some problems.
And you also have to be careful to make sure that the car in front of you is not right on the rear bumper of the car in front of him, because he may not be ready. The second car may not be ready for that tap. 3 wide all the way around this racetrack.
You know, the bump draft is it's just a part of our sport on these tracks now. It's a topic of conversation, has been a topic of controversy.
Trouble
off turn 2.
Behind the field, that looks like the 23. Is that the 23 of Josh Krug?
I think it is. Caution flag is out. A single car incident here at Talladega. We hate to see Josh Krug with this problem, but we're certainly glad to see it's a single car. No more cars involved.
You don't see very many single car wrecks at a place like Talladega.
44 of 94 laps. We're on the 44th lap. That leaves us 50 laps to go. I think just about everyone could get in their window. I believe, Hermie, I would come down pit road here, make sure I had enough fuel to get to the end, and then see how this race plays out.
And he needs to be careful right there also. You can see right here on the monitor, he's got a flat left front tire. And if he didn't get that thing to pit road very quickly, that tire can come apart and tear that race car all to pieces.
Josh was on the inside right there. I don't know if he got a little contact or maybe just lost a little air off the rear spoiler. Talladega had a great idea a few years ago and paved that entire section of racetrack. Before, at one time, that was all grass. A lot of times we saw cars really get in trouble, maybe get upside down when they went from the transition from asphalt to grass. They paved that entire area, and here comes Josh Krug with flat tires and his roof flaps up. Only damage.
So Josh Krug bringing out our second caution of the day as we're closing in on the halfway point from Talladega Superspeedway. Welcome back. We're expecting pit stops to take place momentarily. The ARCA Remax Series 250 underway. PHILLIP McGILTON, a little bit of damage to the left rear of that car.
That was from Michael McDowell leaving pit road. A considerable amount of damage. Tough breakthrough too, especially with the way that quarter panel was pushed out like that. It acts like a parachute.
Yeah, aero-wise, he's not going to be where he needs to be. That fender hacking out there will really hurt his speed on the straightaways.
Phillip's being shown in the 19th position right now, so he's staying ahead of a lot of the lead lap cars, even with that problem with the left rear quarter panel. Maybe this caution flag will give them an opportunity to work on that some more. Here's Frank Kimmel. I really believe that this will be the time to come down pit road. Make sure you're in your window, knowing you can go the rest of the way. Here comes
Kimmel.
most of the lead lap cars on pit road.
Josh Wise decides late he needs to make his way onto pit road, and Kimmel, one of the first stalls, the first stall coming off of the racetrack. Jim?
They're actually adding tape to the nose on the Ford as well as fuel. They're also working on the windshield. He said he could not see out of it, so they're going to peel off that Lexan. He had a very hard time getting in the pits. He said, guys, you got to help me come down. I've got too much on the windshield. A little bit of tape added. As Kimmel said, he's running 220. Not an issue. They're actually going to add that for aerodynamic reasons. Now we'll check in with Wendy.
All right, the 40 is making his way down pit road. He was running a little bit hot. They are going to come down pit road and first fill it up with fuel. Now there is a spin on pit road between Mark Thompson and the 5 car. And I believe it's the 2 of Michael McDowell on the other side. In the meantime, Bryan Clauson is trying to get down pit road. The 5 of Mark Thompson is turned around and facing towards the pit wall. They are trying to get him turned around. They're also trying to get the 22 of Josh Wise is pulling out. It is mass chaos down here on pit road.
Tell Mark Thompson to stop. There was a car coming behind him. They pushed the 2 of Michael McDowell back into its stall so that they could do any kind of cosmetic work to that car. And they're looking underneath the 40. Looks like potentially looking at transmission or something wrong with the rear end possibly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They're under the fuel cell or inside the trunk looking at the fuel cell and also underneath that car. But more problems for our run-up right now in the points. Michael McDowell, second time he's had trouble on pit road this race.
Take another look at what took place as he comes off of pit road now, and a lot of damage to the right front of that car.
Here's another view. You're going to see the 5 of Mark Thompson come in. You see the 2 pull right out into the side of that 5. That's a crew chief's job. That's Patrick Donahue's job to tell him that 5 is coming in. He has to know where that 5 is going to pit, when he's going to pit. Michael was turned loose, and he just ran right into the side of that 5.
I was going to say, Phil, on a place like this, almost any pit road, as far as that goes, the spotter will turn it over to the crew chief. When you get on pit road, that crew chief has got to count him down and make him aware of who's coming in and who's going out. Just miscommunication right there on pit road.
Yeah, a lot of damage to that 2 car. Next week at Toledo, that wouldn't bother that car at all. But here at Talladega, that's a big, big deficit right there.
And that damage on the right front of that car is very, very severe. And that's the first place that air is going to get to, Phil, is that right front of that car. And that's definitely going to hurt their handling and the aerodynamics of the 2 car.
Coming through the trioval, the green flag flies once again from Talladega. We're back underway. Again, only 2 cautions have taken place as we've crossed the halfway point. 94 scheduled laps. We're on lap 47.
Richard Johns inherited the lead, the 39 car, the Rulo brothers car. Richard, part-time Busch competitor, going to run the rest of the races for Ed Renzi in the Busch Series. Doing a one-off ARCA Remax start here.
Dexter Bean, we saw the steam rolling out of that car earlier, and obviously not a problem because they've got him back out on the racetrack running in the 2nd spot. Phillip Magilton's 3rd, Billy Leslie 4th.
I think some of these cars did not come down pit road on this caution flag. A little bit differing strategy for some of these cars, some of these teams.
So they're spread out just a bit on the racetrack now. A couple different packs running around the 2.66 mile super speedway.
They'll all be together here momentarily. You see that lead right now Richard Johns has. He's got about 6-8 car lengths on Phillip Magilton. Here comes, looks like Billy Venturini on the outside to take over, trying to take over the 2nd position. That lead is going to evaporate. That will be the largest lead that will probably have here in this race.
We look at our Just for Men race summary after the halfway point. 47 laps. Richard Johns out in front. 5 different lead changes. That's when they cross the start-finish line. 5 different lead changes. Only 2 cautions for 8 laps, and 2 cars are currently out of the race.
Here comes Tim McCready on the inside. That Richard Childress car, the 31. Trying to take over the 2nd position from Phillip Magilton.
And how big a lead did you say Richard Johns had?
The biggest win he was going to have this race.
And it's gone.
And it's gone.
It's gone. Tim McCready getting right up to his back bumper. And now the outside line, Phillip Magilton.
Let's take a look back at just a lap or so ago with the 46 of our point leader, Frank Kimmel. Had a bit of a scare here. You see Frank on the inside. Josh Krug's going to drive down right in front of him. They actually make contact. You see Bill Baird, the 52 car, drive by on the outside. Frank had to get out of the throttle. Watch this here. That's one thing you don't want to do at this racetrack is what Josh Krug just did.
Yeah, he just took a hard left and came down 2 lanes of traffic down in front of Frank Kimmel. Frank Kimmel did a great job of being aware of getting out of the throttle, and once the contact was made, Josh did a good job of straightening that car up, but you do not want to pull down a hard left in 2 lanes of traffic.
That's what everyone will tell you. All the veterans will say, hold your line. Just hold your line.
Frank Kimmel now holding the high line here at Talladega Superspeedway. Richard Johns leads. Tim McCready, Billy Leslie, Phillip McGilton, and Max Dumouriez. Welcome back, ARCA Re Series 250 from Talladega Superspeedway. Riding along with Billy Leslie, looking back at Michael Annett. Annett has been so strong up to this point in this race.
Billy Venturini on the inside in the 15 car.
Two different lines. And now a third line almost forming there in between those two. Then they close the door. We see Dario Franchitti in that 42 target. Dodge running on the inside.
Yeah, Dario is being shown right now back in about the 26th position, but that's only a second and a half behind the leader.
Been kind of keep an eye on him to see after that pit stop that cost him positions on pit road if he'd be able to get in that right line and drive back up to the front. So far it's been tough sledding for Dario in the back, and part of the field probably as great a race car driver as he is, these other guys trying to get a feel for him too to see what he's able to do in the draft. But I'm confident that with the car he's got, he'll be up back towards the front before this thing is over.
Frank Kimmel had a good run on the inside. Jason Hedleski was right in front of him in the 7th car, and that kind of impeded his progress a little bit. We're getting a report that the 21 right there, the silver Red Bull Toyota of Scott Speed, is being black flagged for passing below the yellow line. The ARCA Remax officials are going to clamp down on him a little bit.
Well, before they told him to give the position back, and now we're hearing for Scott Speed.
We're hearing it's not a black flag. It's going to be give the spot back that you took by going below the yellow line.
That would be consistent with what they've done in the past. Actually in this race already today.
And the other problem is, Phil, how does he move over and give that position back
without giving 7?
Without giving 7 or 10 spots back. That's right.
Well, and who is it he needs to give it back to?
That's the
what
question.
If he's running 10 spots behind him right now?
Which vehicle did he pass to get into the position he's in? But I'm sure the ARCA Remax Series officials are going to say, okay, you better give it back soon or we are going to black flag you.
I like the rule. I mean, taking it a situation where, you know, no harm, no foul, give the spot back, but it's very difficult to give the spot back.
We're hearing from the ARCA Remax officials that it was the 94 of Max Dumouriez as the car that he passed to improve his position below the yellow line, but now he's gonna have to find Max somewhere on the racetrack.
Max has scored 7th the last time they went by the start-finish line. Right now, Scott Speed is in 5th.
That's Max right behind him. The 94, the black and white number 94. That's Max Dumouriez. Now see Scott.
Yeah, he's slowing down.
Positions.
He's slowing down, looking for that 94.
If I'm the ARCA official, I'm going to say that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, you let several cars go by.
Up a lot of spots.
You know, I don't know how we can, you know, gradually give the 94 car spot back because the 94 is right on his rear bumper.
And to get out of the way, he's going to have to go beyond the yellow line again.
That's what he's trying to do right now. So he's trying to do exactly what the ARCA Remax officials say to do. So I'd say now he's good to go.
But look at this momentum. We talk about momentum at this racetrack. That 21 car off the throttle, he's going to lose a lot more spots.
As close as they're running on the racetrack, Mario Goslin actually got into the wall on the last lap. Let's take another look.
Mario's in that 12 car on the outside behind the 61 of Chase Austin. Going in turn number 3. See Mario's going to ease up through trouble.
Problems. We've got problems on the racetrack. The 29 gets turned around. That's Mike Giacchetti. Mike Giacchetti.
See all the damage to the left rear. That's Keselowski's car right there. A lot of damage to the left rear corner.
Out of Clayton, Georgia, close. There's another problem for the 84 of Norm Benning. A lot of damage to the left front of that car. So our third caution has come out.
Let's take a look at what happened here. See the 29 of Mike Giacchetti just loses control, and then the 84 of Norm Benning comes along and really nowhere to go. Makes some pretty hard contact. Do you see the 29? Look, a tire went down. You see all the debris,
You
Irving?
see the debris.
Yeah.
That thing spun around so fast, he
Wow,
lost a
what a
tire
hit, too.
right in the middle of the corner, and Norm Benning just wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, the left rear tire went down. All that damage to the left rear of that car was done by that tire going down. All that damage right there was from the tire going down. They actually made contact, Norm Benning did, with the right front of that car.
Hard contact for Norm Benning. The safety crews get to him, and we'll make sure he's okay as they will pull the cars off of the racetrack, clean the racing surface, and we'll go back to green flag racing. We'll be back with more from Talladega. Tomorrow, the Formula One season draws closer to its climactic end, and Lewis Hamilton hopes to draw closer to the title. Teammate Fernando Alonso is the underdog, but he's not giving up hope. Catch the Grand Prix of China tomorrow, 1:30 a.m. Eastern, 10:30 p.m. Pacific, live and only right here on Speed.
That's a Formula One, ex-Formula One driver right there, Scott Speed, going to be full-time next year in the ARCA Re Series. Here's Billy Leslie. He's going to give up his second position to come down pit road. What will probably be his final pit stop. You see right sides going on the Titan tire and wheel Ford. Remember, his father, former ARCA Re champion Tracy Leslie. Left side's going on now. Should be his final pit stop. There's the 6th, Dexter Bean right behind him. There's Mark Mitchell coming out right there in the number 8, the yellow and white Ergon Pontiac.
Got a smattering of cars making their way onto pit road. Josh Wise in the 22 also on pit road. Looks like they're going to change 4 tires.
That's Mark Thompson right in front of Josh Wise. Remember, they were still trying to repair some of the damage from that contact with the 2 of Michael McDowell.
Josh Wise back out onto pit road and will be on the racetrack here shortly. The hood up on the 40 of Bryan Clauson, not a good sign. Crew goes to work on that car. It looked as though they were screwing something on. It almost looked like the power steering pump on the front of that car.
They had a drain pan. I don't know if there was. Remember, they had some sort of an oiling situation early on, and that you know, that may be related to that.
Michael Annett back out in front. Justin Marks in a new paint scheme with the KRUG Breast Cancer Research Foundation on board that Dodge Charger this weekend.
I think you would look good in a pink pair of Crocs. Correct.
Really?
Yeah. And if you bought some, if you bought some online, www.crocs.com, you would they would donate $5 if you bought some pink ones online.
$5 for every purchase of an adult beach or Cayman style shoe purchased online at www.crocs.com. We actually sat down with Justin Marks a little earlier.
Well, it's been kind of a roller coaster for us. I mean, I like to think of it kind of a character building year for everybody. I mean, we've sort of had some real great highs and some real low lows, and had a lot of unfortunate luck this summer that we had to deal with. But I approach this season as a real opportunity for me to learn a new discipline, learn a new type of racing. I mean, I've never oval track raced full time or raced in stock cars full time or anything like that. So I knew that there was going to be a learning curve there. There was going to be a certain period of time where I was going to have to experience a lot of different things, learn how the pace of these races go. You know, I think that there's probably been 5 or 6 races this year where I felt like, we really had a shot at winning. We just came real close to Milwaukee, but I think there's been a number of places where we've been fast and we would have been right there in the hunt. If we don't win a race this season, it's going to be disappointing. I'm not going to lie to you. We've been competitive everywhere that we've been, and that's definitely something that the team can be proud of. Obviously, we raced to win, but the point of the season was for everybody to learn as much as they could. So I think that if we can't get into victory lane this year, there's still something to be proud of, and it would just be selling all the hard work that everybody does around here short, saying that if we didn't win, it was a failure, because I think it'd be very much the opposite.
And he needs to be proud of his accomplishments this season. We take a look at that roller coaster that he talked about. The first 13 races, his average finish was 22nd. For the last 6 races, things have really picked up. Average finish of 5.3.
And 2 of those last 6 races were runner-up finishes here in ARCA Re Series.
And I like the looks of that car. And while we're talking about breast cancer, I want to say hello to my mom back in North Carolina. She's currently undergoing treatment for breast cancer. So we also appreciate him getting the word out about that as well.
Thoughts and prayers are always with your family, Hermie, as your mom goes through that. And again, everyone that they are helping, Justin March is helping with that paint scheme and the deal with Crocs, www.crocs.com. Our third caution of the day came out. It was the 29 and the 84 having issues.
Yeah, the 29 loses the left rear tire, Mike Giacchetti. Spins back up the racetrack. A couple guys did a nice job avoiding him, but unfortunately Norm Benning with nowhere to go makes some pretty significant contact.
And that happened so fast for the 29 and for Norm Benning. I mean, that thing spins around before you know it, and Norm Benning looks like he's, you know, a couple hundred yards behind, but he gets there with a snap of a finger. He's right there.
Yeah, we're watching in slow motion, and it still gets there quick.
It was very quick. Well, speaking of quick, Michael Annett has been the quickest here at Talladega. He's led the most laps up to this point. We'll find out if he can continue to lead when we come back. Tomorrow it's the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series turn to take on the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. Just 3 points separate Mike Skinner and Ron Hornaday for the point lead, and Speed delivers live exclusive coverage of all the fender-to-fender action. That's the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Eastern only on Speed.
We're riding along with a guy that's going to be in that race tomorrow. Brian Silas going to do double duty. There you see Brian right there, the Nortrax Shell Rotility Ford, I believe.
And he will be driving the 71 truck tomorrow.
That's a Chevrolet, actually. That is a Ford, I'm telling you. That is a Ford.
Sure looks like a Ford Fusion from this vantage point. We take a look at Dominic Casola, who's moved up into the second position, right behind Michael Annett. Haven't mentioned his name yet today, but he is running well, obviously. Up toward the front now. Jim Trado, what's the story from pit road?
Well, guys, Wall Township Speedway in New Jersey is about the tightest quarter mile you could find. Andy Belmont is team with Dominic Casola. We now see him shining, seasoning with you, Andy, under your direction. How is Dominic Casola handling this huge super speedway?
It's pretty interesting. I just told him, look, you know how to run 3 wide at Wall Stadium. It's the same deal. It's going a little bit faster, but he's doing all right. Car seems to suck up. Car likes the middle for whatever reason, but I just told him, look, we can see daylight there at the front. Let's just stay in the tire tracks at that 28, go to school here, and hope we still get some help pushing us.
Yeah, Chad McCumbee helped you guys at Pocono run so well. What's your success right here, and what's it credited to?
Bunch of hard work, lift-off body from the Wood Brothers. That was a wrecked Ganassi car that we resurrected from the dead, and we tested it real good. Robert Yates Motors have been awesome. Roush Yates. It's just been you know, we fell into it this weekend. That's all. We kind of hit it right. You know, ever since Gateway, we've kind of hit our stride a little bit, and he's starting to understand, you know, what he wants. And we understand what he wants in a race car, and he's starting to believe what I tell him. So that's a big part of it.
Bit humble here, guys. A great improvement for Andy Belmont and this young racer.
Yeah, that St. Louis race Andy was referring to was Dominic's best career finish. He finished 5th in that race just about 4 or 5 races ago.
And always, anytime when you got a young driver trying to get experience, to have a guy like Andy Belmont with a lot of experience in this division on and off the racetrack, it never hurts.
The only race Dominic Casola hasn't run this season was Daytona, the other super speedway race that the ARCA Remax Series goes in a season. It's always a fun time when you come to Talladega Superspeedway. Bit of a party that goes on in the infield here. Matter of fact, the concert's going to take place later tonight.
Yeah, going to be a Beach Boys concert tonight in the infield.
The party will continue when we come back to more coverage of the ARCA Remax Series at Talladega.
Yes, Phil.
About to go back to green flag racing. The ARCA Remax 250. After 59 of the 94 laps, it's Michael Annett back in front. Dominic Casola brought that number 1 up to the 2nd spot. Billy Venturini, Jeremy Clements, and Richard Johns rounding out our top 5. Being told a couple drivers will have to move to the back because of moving up the racetrack before the blend line when they came out of pit road.
And the drivers are supposed to stay below that yellow line until they get over to turn number 2. Billy Lessel in the 18 and Mark Mitchell in the 8 will have to restart from the tail end of the longest line. Will lose a lot of track position. And that 28 car of Michael Annett has been strong from the drop of the green flag.
Very strong. He leads very well. Started the beginning of this race. The first 30 laps he was out in front. And now back out to the front, and it has a big lead right now on Dominic Casola, but that will go away in a matter of seconds.
So those cars lined up in the outside, Billy Venturini, but he jumps down to the inside to get in line, running in the 3rd position right now.
That looks like a great restart, but what he really needs to try to do is not get off to such a fast start, or if you do that, he's going to need to learn how to maybe tap their brake a little bit, let those guys catch and feel at the right place on the racetrack, because if you don't, they'll blow by you on both sides.
This kind of racing is all about momentum. And if you get a big lead, you get on the throttle early, get a big lead, then they're going to have momentum when they get to you. Fortunately for Michael Annett right there, Dominic did not have that big a momentum when he got to him, so he's able to hold on to this lead here. But you want to stay, as Hermie said, not get too far ahead, because you don't want those guys to really get a tow from you and be able to drive right by you.
Momentum, the key word for Billy Venturini right now, as he has Jeremy Clements behind him. Jim, what's going on with that team?
Billy was really relaxed under caution, saying, man, this is a great race, guys, but he really this weekend thinks he has a very strong race car. He said, I'm going to qualify top 10. He qualified 10th. I said, okay, you called it yesterday, Billy. This morning I said, what's your strategy today? He said, I have a car that can stay in the hunt. I said, Billy, does that mean you want to be lead pack all day? He said, I have the car I know can be in the lead pack all day long. So very confident young racer getting the opportunity again. This team has really worked with a number of drivers. Ryan Foster has the 25. Billy had to qualify on speed with the number 15 on the side, but very, very happy with his race car right now.
This is only the 7th race of the season for Billy Venturini. He's doing a very limited schedule this year.
Remember all that damage to that 2-car Michael McDowell, and how we talked about the aerodynamics were going to be really crippled. Well, there he is on the outside, running right now in the top 10 on the outside of the 31 of Tim McCready.
They've done an amazing job to the right front to enable that thing to run as well as it has up to this point.
You see the line on the inside. Now Tim McCready's going to jump to the outside. He's going to bring Max Dumouriez with him. That's Colin Brown, the 99 on the inside. There's Frank. He's right behind that 99 Roush Fenway car of Colin Brown. Say that Max Dumouriez has been extremely impressive. Didn't really know that much about Max Dumouriez, but he has done a terrific job this race. Has raced his way up into the top 5 earlier in this race, and now he's running in the top 10.
Max out of New Hampshire, making his first start. Jim Trado, what do you think about Max?
Well, I talked to Max's crew chief today, Harry Norcross. If you follow the NASCAR Busch East series, you know that's Mike Olson's high school and grade school buddy. That continues to be Mike Olson, the 2-time Busch East Series champions crew chief. That whole team is led by Mike Olson. Max Dumouriez ran the Busch East Series this year, and this race car, Frankie Stoddard, their old high school buddy of Mike Olson's, put this car together. It was Boris Said's backup car at Daytona, so he knows this Ford's a good piece, but these guys are really learning in a quick way how to get around Talladega. They tested here 10 days ago, but Max having a ride of his life with Mike Olson, the Busch East champ, and the team calling the shots.
He's tucked in behind that 31 of Tim McCready, and that would be a good car to follow if those cars can work together and maybe get that outside line moving a little bit more.
And right now the inside line seems to be the place to be. Tim McCready has lost some ground there on the outside. See Frank Kimmel, that bright day glow red or orange car, keeps methodically working his way towards the front. Right now he comes by in the 7th position.
This is about the time of the race, Phil. These guys still 30 laps to go, but these guys who are 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th have got to start positioning themselves for the final 10 laps. They got to get up in that top 5 or 6 to even have a chance, because you're not going to run a guy down from 10th place in the last couple laps. You got to methodically, slowly move your way up into position to win at the end of this race.
Yeah, some of these guys are going to be feeling the sense of urgency before too much longer, even though we have a long way to go in this race. But there's going to come a time and they're going to say, okay, gosh, I got to get myself in position. I can't win from 12th. I got to be up at least 4th or 5th.
A lot of these guys come from short track backgrounds. You know, hadn't been on short tracks too long ago. When you hit 30 to go at a mile racetrack or half-mile racetrack, you say it's almost over. Yeah. We got a long ways to go, but they hit at 30 laps and they say time to go.
It's still over 70 miles of racing to go in this one. Michael Annett leading. Dominic Casola, Billy Venturini, Jeremy Clements, and Colin Brown. Welcome back. See the ARCA Remax 250 from Talladega Superspeedway.
That's Billy Leslie right there. Billy just got passed. Now he is being shown a lap down. Remember, he was running 2nd not that long ago. Got penalized. You see Billy right there in the Titan Tire and Wheel Ford on the inside of that Curtis Air Compressors car driven by Jason Hedleski. He's doing a great job. There's Scott Speed on the outside right there in the 21 Red Bull Toyota, but Billy being shown now in the 35th position. There's Jason Hedleski right there doing a great job in that Ford Fusion, right behind Frank Kimmel, our winner from last year in point leader.
Jason Hedleski, actually, a fine young gentleman, gave us a ride the other day from the airport.
He did.
So we want to say thanks to that. Jason Hedleski, a good kid, spots for Carl Edwards in the Cup Series, and really runs very strong in this series, Wendy.
Sometimes it takes a little bit of patience at Superspeedway. That's what Jason Hedleski's dealing with right now. He feels like, he said, he runs all over the back of Frank Kimmel, so he just has to be patient. Now, they were up in their temperatures. It's back down to 240, which is still a little bit high, but he says as long as I give it a little sniff of air, it seems to come down. This, of course, the car he's running is the 88 Cup car from Daytona earlier this season.
Jason Hedleski talked about spotting for Carl Edwards. Phil, I always think it's a good idea if your spotter has got some experience being on the racetrack and experiencing what goes on the racetrack. And so for him to be able to be behind the wheel and kind of know what's going on inside the car certainly helps him now, but also helps him with his Sunday job spotting for Carl Edwards.
See Colin Brown able to sneak that nose inside of Billy Venturini. Actually moved Billy out of the way, it looked like. If not physically, certainly with air, and it allows Colin to take over the 3rd spot and brings Frank Kimmel up to the 4th spot.
Michael Annett, Dominic Casola, 1 and 2. Colin Brown has moved to 3. Frank Kimmel right behind him, and then Billy Venturini back in 5th.
Right in that wad back there with the 3 wide, that's where these guys are feeling this sense of urgency, knowing that the time is running out. We're inside of 30 laps to go. We've got 26 laps to go, and that's the place where these guys are starting to get a little antsy.
Dario Franchitti on the inside there with the target sign on his hood.
Fairly recognizable sign.
Fairly recognizable. Dario Franchitti, obviously a very recognizable name, our most recent Indy 500 winner, making the transition to stock cars.
Looks like he's just starting to try to maybe make his move a little bit. You know, he got that behind on that pit stop, and he stayed in the mid-20s, you know, on the racetrack for a long time, Phil, but looks like he's finally, he notices we're inside of 30 to go and trying to get himself in position to get towards the front.
Well, Dario said this is all about learning, and he's doing a great job here. Had to make a couple pit stops. He's found himself up in the top 20. He's going to try to move by the 8 of Martin Mitchell. He's following his teammate Bryan Clauson. Bryan's being shown down the lap, at least 1 lap down, I believe. No, Bryan is back on the lead lap. Bryan was shown a lap down at one time, but he is on the lead lap.
Hard turn there for Tim McCready. He moved right down on the inside of the racetrack. You don't see many hard left-hand turns on Talladega Superspeedway.
Well, we saw one earlier, and it almost took Frank Kimmel out over here in turn number 2. And Dario continuing to move up in the inside, following his teammate.
Car is really fast through the center of the corner. You can see it right there. They call that yaw. When the car gets in yaw in the center of the corner, you got a lot of speed. One thing they attributed all the success of the DEI cars here for years, and I drove one of those cars here, and that car actually in the corner would pick up RPM when you got it in the corner, and you can tell right there when Dario gets that thing down on the yellow line and keeps the gas down, his car is really fast through the center of the corner.
Those two teammates continue to team up, the 40 and the 42, Bryan Clauson and Dario Franchitti. Going across the start-finish line, they're moving into the top 15 and looking for the front of this field. Michael Annett's up there. That's who they need to catch. The pack beginning to tighten up now at Talladega Superspeedway. Your top 5, top 6 running nose to tail, and then it's 2 wide as they're starting to move around this racetrack, try to find the fastest line as the laps continue to wind down. Just 23 laps remaining.
There's the Port Greenheck Ford right there. Frank Kimmel on the inside. There's Josh Wise running behind there. Ooh, Justin Marks comes up through the middle with a lot of momentum. There's Erin Crocker. We haven't talked a whole lot about Erin Crocker since the very beginning of the race. Remember, she's going for the Speedway Challenge, the ARCA Re Speedway Challenge.
That championship will be wrapped up today after this race, the final Speedway race of the 2007 season. Wendy Venturini.
And Erin Crocker is in competition with Frank Kimmel for that Super Speedway Challenge. He leads him by 100 points coming into today's race. Now, what the folks at home didn't see was action on pit road. When Erin Crocker came down pit road, she spun out right in front of the 31 of Tim McCready, and the tire changer actually hit the front of her hood. So a little bit of action that we missed, but the crew guys were telling me about it, how crazy and chaotic. We were watching the 5 of Mark Thompson go around with Michael McDowell.
Problems on the racetrack. Problems on the racetrack. Winning. I saw him get a little bit wild in the back there. And the caution has come out A lot of damage to the front of that Ford Fusion.
Is that Billy Leslie right there? It looks a lot like Billy Leslie's car. It is Billy. You see him moving around there. I tell you, he took a heck of a shot to the outside wall as well as the inside wall.
I was going to say, took 2 shots, but good to see that window net was down before he got off the banking of the racetrack, and that's what happens when these guys start seeing the end in sight. They get closer and closer and closer, and eventually it happens.
McDowell was involved in this as well. He's on pit road.
Josh Wise also, the 22 Napa car. Looks like Richard Johns possibly right there. No, that's the 07 of Billy Tanner. That yellow car just, oh, well, there goes the point battle right there.
There went the points championship for Michael McDowell. Any chance of it? And that is exactly what we thought Talladega was going to be. It would be the difference maker if you could get into the championship hunt or if you could lock it up. And it looks as though Frank Kimmel could lock it up today.
Well, let's don't be presumptuous to think that Frank Kimmel could avoid all the trouble the rest of the race. But you see Michael right there, and what a tough break. What a terrific season they've had, though. Regardless of what happens the rest of this race or next week at Toledo, a terrific job by this entire Eddie Sharp team. And Michael McDowell, multi-time winner this year, 3 wins, and that number 2 car. And unfortunately going to be a short day here at Talladega. And he's so optimistic coming into the race, and not to be.
Michael McDowell finding victory lane at Kentucky earlier, Pocono, and most recently Chicagoland. But it won't be today. Talladega Superspeedway, he's getting well wishes and congratulations, obviously, on a good season, but disappointing finish to his Talladega Superspeedway run.
Brian Scott right there, he was driving the Country Joe's number 32, just trying to gain some experience. Going to be full-time in the Truck Series the rest of this year and next year. Was keeping his nose clean and probably a victim here of this incident over in turns 3 and 4.
And this was a case of they were running 2 and 3 wide near the back of the pack, and I saw one of the cars get sideways, and then obviously it's a chain reaction after that. Once you get sideways, you're trying to look out of what's going on. Wendy Venerini, who have you caught up with?
Obviously, Billy Tanner's a little bit upset, just climbed out of the car, and we were hoping to see a replay so he could see it. What could you tell from your standpoint in the seat?
It looks like he just lost it. I don't know. Somebody told me he cut a tire, but I don't know if they're saying that just so I don't go over there.
There's the replay?
Yeah, left rear tire went down on that 2 car, Wendy.
Yeah, all I see is a good wrecked car, 2 good wrecked cars. I don't know. If he had a cut tire, then that's a shame. We got guys like me out there trying to win sponsors, trying to do a good job. You got rich kids that just get the stuff handed to them, and it's a shame it's guys like us that have to go home.
You look like you're okay, though.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, Billy Tanner obviously upset, guys.
Yeah, well, when we saw that left rear tire go down on that 2 car, Michael McDowell, I'm not sure if that's who Billy was talking about, Michael McDowell, but the left rear tire was obviously down there.
He did have a cut tire, and I just got to say, when you're a young guy coming into sport, trying to gain respect and earn it, making comments like that on the air is not really what people want to hear. Everybody's out there trying to do, the right thing and try to make it. But this guy definitely had a cut tire, the 2 car did, and caused problems for everybody. Unfortunate situation, but you need to sometimes take a breath, sit back, and find out what really happened before you start talking.
And that's so hard to do when you're running 190 miles an hour and you're 3 inches away from people. Jim Trado.
With Michael McDowell, he sat against the pit wall here. Michael, what happened?
Yeah, it's just tight racing. We had a good draft going on the bottom, and I pushed to 16, and he jumped on the brakes, and the 31 just didn't get on the brakes, lifted me up, and cut the left rear tire. So, I went in there. I knew it was cut.
We're going to show you the replay here, Michael.
Yeah, that's a little bit late, but just try to get on the brakes and slow down, and it just spun out, and there's cars all around. I mean, there's nothing you can do here at these speedway races when something like that happens. Real shame. The Lodomy car was really good, and glad to have them on this weekend, and just real unfortunate we couldn't finish this race. Obviously, this hurts us in the championship, but we'll go to Toledo and we'll try to win.
You had some right front damage earlier on. Did that affect how you ran to this point?
Yeah, that was just a mistake on pit road. They told me to go and put it in gear and took off, and the 5 was coming in, and it just happens when it gets congested. But real unfortunate for the Lodomy car and Seed Line Design and Mission Residential, and it's just a real shame for the points.
How big of a blow is this, Michael? You told me before the race it may not be your championship season. You've got second, but how does this hurt?
Well, it definitely hurts because we had a good solid run going, and we definitely were able to work our way back to the front. And, it's tough to win championships, and with 16 laps, you're never going to do it.
Frustrated. Not only driver, but championship contender.
And what he was basically saying, Phil, is that tire cut started back in going into turn 3.
Right.
He got lifted up off the ground, fender cut a tire when all the melee happened off turn 4, but that wreck actually started before the cameras picked it up going into turn 3 when he cut a left rear tire.
Maybe another situation where a bump draft gone bad.
Look at this at the beginning of this.
This is really after that already happened, because
Yep,
the
that
tire's
tire's
going
cut.
down there. You can see the damage to the quarter panel because of it. See him get loose right there, try to catch it, and unfortunately he's going to go up and make some contact with Brian Scott in the 32. But watch the 18 of Billy Leslie come through.
Does he hit hard?
Man, does he hit hard. Thank goodness for those safer barriers. There he is right there. Billy's going to try to avoid the 32 of Brian Scott, and just about at a 45-degree angle into the outside wall. And he made another hard hit on the inside wall, and we saw him moving around in the car right away, Hermie.
And I tell you, thank the Lord, we talk about all the time, the safer barrier.
Yeah.
You cannot call that thing a soft wall because it is not soft, but it's definitely a safer barrier, and that accident would have been a lot more injuries involved in that had it not been for that safer barrier.
Big hit from Talladega Superspeedway. Michael Annett has stayed out of all the problems and stayed up front. We'll see if he can finish up front right after this. Welcome back. It's Talladega Superspeedway. We're riding along with who could eventually earn his 9th championship in the ARCA Remax Series, Frank Kimmel. 3 wins on the 2007 season.
Guys just rock solid in the ARCA division. When you think about ARCA, you think about Frank Kimmel. Got a lot of experience in the situations. He's kind of reminds me of like a Jeff Gordon, a Dale Earnhardt, and I don't want to jinx him, but you hardly ever see him put himself in a position to get in trouble on the racetrack. He's fast, he's consistent, and he finishes races.
Hermie, let's see if we can talk to him. Hey, Frank Kimmel, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. It looks like you got a great car down there. I'm sure your brother Bill's told you about the 2. Michael McDowell having trouble. You guys have had a great battle this year, and unfortunately he's going to have trouble today. But you got a shot maybe to win this thing, huh?
Hey, what? It's been really a struggle. These guys are running fast, and a lot of 2 and 3 wide racing. I think for the most part they're doing a great job, and hopefully we'll stay pretty clean the rest of the way, and I can help get up there a couple more spots. It'd be pretty cool.
Frank, you've been in the top 5 of the last 5 times here, so you know how to get to the end of one of these things, but you've got a lot of talented young guys around you. Anybody, any deals out there yet?
You know, it's getting awful late for deals now, but Colin here ahead of me has done a great job. He's really made some great moves getting under these guys. The outside lane just doesn't seem to be working at all today, so you know, Michael Annett up there leading the race. His car is definitely the strongest car in the field, it looks like to me, and we'll just have to see. Maybe we can team up and get a push. If I keep Billy behind me here and show a little patience, maybe we can push up here and get a little further up.
Say the outside's not really working that well. If you hug that yellow line, I don't think anybody can pass you. They can't go underneath you, Frank.
I know it, that yellow line rule, I didn't know we was playing basketball or something. I don't really believe in all that, but yeah, that's part of the deal. It's rules were made, so we'll try to keep this Ford Fusion up front for all the Green Heck and Ford people. And we've had a great year. Michael's done a great job, and hopefully we can finish this thing out here today and get another good, strong top 5 finish and go on to Toledo.
All right, Frank, finish it off, bud.
Appreciate it, Phil. Next year you have to do a little more than change that fuel cell for us.
Okay, thanks. See you later.
Well, let's continue on with the Kimmel family. Jim Trados with crew chief Bill Kimmel.
And Bill, you are not exhaling just yet. You're worried about this race. You guys, your driver just said he's trying to make some deals on the racetrack. Any deals made down here on pit road?
I think it's too dark to go back green, personally. You know, Michael's deal, I mean, they've been tough all year long, but, you know, it just shows what happens in such a quick time here at Talladega because you're running so daggone fast and you're at everybody's mercy. Yeah, I mean, we got, you know, 17, 18 laps left in this thing, and, you know, sure, we'd like to win the thing, but more important, we'd like to sit out here and finish the thing. I think, you know, a top 10 finish right now would look awful big for us right now, so stay out there and keep it running. It'd be the main thing right now.
They have stayed on their own schedule, guys, and the 99 may be a friend, as I know Frank Kimmel talked quite at length with young Colin Brown about how to get around this place.
Well, Frank Kimmel has a history of finishing in the top 5. 4 of his last 5 races at this racetrack have been top 5 finishes. Kimmel looking to move up and maybe get a repeat win at Talladega Superspeedway. Come right back. Sunday on Speed, step into the wind tunnel with Dave Despain. Don't miss the biggest names, the biggest opinions, and the biggest mouths. Tune in this week. It's Jeff Gordon co-hosting the wind tunnel with Dave Despain. Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on Speed.
I can tell you that one of those haulers down there is Jeff Gordon's hauler.
You're all over it. That is the Cup Garage. They will.
And it would probably be the one with the DuPont logo on the top of it.
Right next to the Cobalt Tool logo. Yeah.
Yeah.
We know our stuff here, Hermie.
We're on it.
And again, we are under our 4th caution of the day from Talladega Superspeedway. They haven't opened pit road as of yet. We take a look back at what took place. Michael McDowell cutting the tire, moving up the racetrack.
Everybody else really a victim of circumstances. We're getting reports that the 32 of Brian Scott and the 18 of Billy Leslie, both of those drivers were treated and released or examined and released from the infield care center. So that's great news.
And that's Billy Leslie there in the 18. He had the hood that came up over the windshield, couldn't see where he was going, got on the brakes and got unstrapped from that car and climbed out.
The good news is, or the bad news is, depending on how you look at it, this race is going to get even more exciting yet.
Oh, yeah.
These guys have really starting to see the end. We'll get back going here. Probably have, 12 to 14, 15 laps to go. And you talking about dicing it up. It's a big deal to win an ARCA race now, especially at Talladega. A lot of eyes on these guys right now, and be a big deal for somebody to win this race.
Yeah, a lot of eyes right here on Dario Franchitti. That number 42 Dodge Charger. Wendy Venerini.
Well, listening to both the 40 and the 42 on the radio, Brad Parrott, the crew chief for BRYAN, CLAUSON, came over the radio and said, man, when we go back green, we have no friends out here. The only friend we have is Dario Franchitti, our teammate. The spotter for him, Lauren Rainier, is upstairs with Tab Boyd, the spotter for Dario, and they do have a game plan. So the 42 and 40, expect them to hook up together and take that draft to the front, they hope.
Looks like a little damage to the left front valance on that 42 car. Looked like a little hole possibly there, and that would affect that car aerodynamically.
Make sure to continue to watch Speed all day long. Coming up 8 o'clock tonight, it is Trackside. Kenseth and Wappel on set. Welcome back. The ARCA Remax 250 closing in on the final 13 laps of racing from Talladega, Alabama. Michael Annett out in front of the field. Dominic Casola, Colin Brown, Frank Kimmel, and Billy Venerini are our top 5. Again, they're all in a line because of the most recent caution. It was the 4th caution of the event. And Michael Annett has been dominant pretty much the whole event. Jim Trado, I believe you've got the guy calling the shots from the pit box.
Well, Joe Lax does have a brain trust here with Bill Davis Racing. I saw Tommy Baldwin up here. I know Slugger Labby's been helping you this weekend, but you guys have called an awesome race. What's that young man doing that's making this all work for you, whether it be the veteran leadership or his patience behind the wheel?
Man, he's a real smart kid. He's got a lot of patience. We've really, stressed that with him since we came down and tested and came back for the race. Just the whole deal of, this is a super speedway and it's a little bit different than a short track. And, patience and focus is a big part of racing. It's such a mental game,
Carr Miller is the spotter up top. He'll be working with Jacques Villeneuve this weekend. How has that been able to help you guys assess what the competition is today with a veteran spotter with Carl, who's worked with you guys in the truck series all year?
Anytime you can go out and compete, it helps sharpen your skills for the next day. So that's a big thing, and that's why we work with these young kids and try to develop them, is just trying to make them better.
We'll see how they do it here in the final laps, guys. Joe Lux making the calls of the most impressive car, according to Frank Kimmel, here today.
Joe just mentioned too, patience and focus. Those are 2 words that no one is going to be thinking about in the final 10 laps of this race. Michael Annett out in front of the field. Can he stay there? We're going to find out. Dominic Casola is behind him. Colin Brown's behind him. And Frank Kimmel is back there as well. I'm not exactly sure what Jim was getting ready to say there, but whatever came out wasn't what I think he wanted to come out. Talladega Superspeedway, the ARCA Remax 250, about to get back underway. We're closing in on the final 12 laps of racing.
This is a very important restart. Hopefully the last restart of the day, but especially for these guys, Phil, Franchitti, Hedleski, these guys back 8th, 9th, 10th. Very important they make some moves on this restart, get in position.
Michael Annett getting another good start here. It looks like the number 1 of Dominic Cassola is content with riding behind that 28 car. He knows how strong he's been. Colin Brown got hung up beside the lap car of Eddie Mercer. He's not able to clear Eddie. Now he's got a big line behind him. There's Frank Kimmel right there getting bump drafted by Billy Venturini.
And Frank made the comment, if I can keep Billy behind me, we might be able to move toward the front.
Yeah, they worked really well together. They've run up through that pack here, been very, very consistent, very conservative, and doing a great job here. You see now they're on the outside. Colin Brown got a run on Dominic Cassola. He's going to bring Frank with him.
Frank Kimmel's moving out there, and Billy Venturini sees it as well. He's going to try to roll out there. Now Kimmel chucked back on the inside of the racetrack. That hangs out the 15 of Billy Venturini.
Yeah, there's Richard Johns, the yellow car on the inside. He's going to take advantage. Billy now gets down to the inside. Here comes Bryan Clauson on the outside.
Bryan Clauson had the pole. He won the pole yesterday in the ARCA Remax Series Port Pole qualifying, and now he's made his move back toward the front, but he gets hung out on the outside line as well.
It sure doesn't look like that outside line is going at all. I guess it's just because the inside is just, this racetrack's so smooth, there's no lack of grip. It's just a shorter way around, Herman.
And Michael Annett, all the guys up front, Phil, are taking your advice. Stay right on that yellow line. If somebody's going to pass you, make them go to the outside, because they cannot go beneath that yellow line. So this guy's taking the shortest way around the racetrack, and if anybody's going to make a move, will have to be on the outside, and they're not going to be able to do it alone.
Coming through the tri-oval, it will be 10 laps of racing to go. Frank Kimmel riding along with him as he's moved up to the 3rd spot. Michael Annett out front. Colin Brown running 2nd.
I think right here, if I'm Colin Brown and Frank Kimmel, I'm going to stay in line till we get towards the end of the race. Then if we mix it up and fan out, you're not going to lose that many positions. Maybe even coming off turn 4 down through the tri-oval. Don't want to make your move too prematurely here.
Well, you've got a couple forwards right behind the Toyota of Michael Annett. You got Colin Braun, Frank Kimmel, Dominic Cassola, 3 forwards together. If they can pick the right time, do the right thing, get on the outside. But I don't think, from the looks of it, they're going to be able to pass him by themselves. They're going to take a team effort to get that 28 out of the point.
Yeah, that Richard Johnson, that 39 is also a Ford. And there comes a Chevrolet, Billy Venturini in the 15. Another Chevrolet.
Dominic Cassola had to move out because he got bumped, almost was getting into the back of Frank Kimmel, and then decided, this is too much. I got to check out of here. And so he moved out of line, but now is back in line.
Bryan Clauson's continuing to try to make that outside work. He has to try to make the outside work. He's got no other choice. Bryan's going to be able to pull down in behind the 15 of Billy Venturini. He had a hole between him and the 3 of Jeremy Clement. So now Bryan Clauson is on the inside. You see Justin Allgaier leading that group on the outside.
And those guys need to stay in line. A lot of dicing in and out, bottom line, lower groove, upper groove. Those guys need to try to stay in line and mount a charge on that outside to have a chance to catch Michael Annett in that inside group.
2 and 3 wide as they come through turns 3 and 4. The field moving around, getting into position as we've closed in on the final 8 laps of racing. We'll see the checkered flag when we come back to Talladega.
We want a place that's all about the kids.
Well, maybe not all about the kids.
Find your perfect place at RE/MAX.com. RE/MAX.com shows you all the listings in thousands of cities and towns. See all the listings. Visit RE/MAX.com today.
I need 480 tons of plaster. I need 70 more rolls of paper.
I need an ultrasound machine.
Now, the card that helps you get what you need can help you get what you want. Apply for the American Express Business Gold Rewards card today, and you can get a free domestic round-trip airline ticket with your first purchase. So you can take that well-deserved trip anywhere in the U.S. And with no preset spending limit, you can use the card to buy what you need when you need it.
Not next week.
Not tomorrow.
Now. Plus, you can get the rewards in return. Apply today, and we'll waive the fee for the first year. Call 1-800-NOW-OPEN or visit open.com/free ticket.
I need a better way to buy what I need.
The American Express Business Gold Rewards Card. Apply today and get a free domestic round-trip ticket with your first purchase.
Welcome back. Racing continues. Green flag racing continues at Talladega. The ARCA Remax 250 closing in on its final laps.
See the top about 10, 12 cars, single file, and then it gets wild, gets 2 and 3 wide behind them. Those guys at the back have to try to make something happen.
Yeah, and this is a very, very tense time, the most tense time of the day for the spotters and the drivers. We talked about how excited they were with 30 to go. Now we're inside 10 to go. These guys know it's time to go.
Billy Venturini on the outside. He ducks back into line. He looks like he's flirting with that second line, but nobody's going to go with him.
You know, sometimes they pull out a little bit there, Rick, to see if the guys behind him kind of test the water to see if that guy behind him is going to pull out and go with him. But right now, looks like everybody is committed to staying in that yellow line, at least from that field.
Yeah, now is when the spotters or the crew chiefs need to get together and say, if you go, I'm going to go with you. Because if we're sitting back here in 6th or 7th, we can't win this race back here, and it's all about winning. So this is when there needs to be some deals done. We heard Frank say there are no deals right now.
Yeah. All deals go out the window, I think, when you get inside of 5 to 7 laps. Problems on the infield. That's the 47. Philip McGilton gets turned around, and the caution will come out once again.
He was running up inside the top 10 in 9th position last time by. Philip McGilton, tough break for him. Well, you talked about it, Phil. You looked at me just a second ago and said, these guys are getting close together. They're going to have some contact, and definitely something happened there with the 47.
He was able to get going again. Hopefully get down the pit road here, get some tires on that car. He did not lose the lap. Let's see if we can take a look back at what happened. You see him just, ooh, that's
lifted off the ground.
Completely lifted off the ground by the 21 of Scott Speed. That's where bump drafting goes bad right there.
What do you call that? That's not bump drafting. I'm not sure exactly what you call that.
I believe that's called lift drafting. He lifted him off the ground trying to draft.
And Scott Speed's going to have some damage too to the front of his car. He got almost all the way into the back of that car, almost to the fuel cell.
Look again at what just took place. Phil McGilton then changing the tires there. But toward the back of this line,
you see the 21 gets a little bit of a run. He tries to get up to push him. Actually, they get seized up a little bit. Max Dumouriez in the 94 slowed for just a moment. Philip McGilton probably got off the throttle, and then Scott Speed just drove up underneath.
And you talked about it, Phil, a little while ago. A chain reaction is not so much bump drafting the guy in front of you, but how about the guy in front of him? Is he ready for that tap as well? Just a chain reaction. That's usually the way it happens here at Talladega.
Yeah, and I think Scott Speed was a victim there. You see all the damage to the hood of that Red Bull Toyota. I don't think that was a situation where he just tried to get up there and slam draft him. I think it was a deal where they slowed down in front of him.
that front end now, the front of the 21 has collapsed down. So Scott Speed with damage to the front end. We'll be back for the checkers. Welcome back. About to see the flagman give them the 1 to go sign.
I'm telling you right now, if I was Colin Brown and the 46 of Frank Kimmel, I would lay back. Let Michael Annett get out there and get a big lead. And when you get to him, we're going to go by right then.
And we've seen Michael Annett get out to some, 10, 12, 15 car length leads on some restarts anyway. And this guy is young. He wants to win. He's excited. He's going to be on the gas as soon as he can, as quick as he can. If these guys are smart, like Frank Kimmel, if he wins second place, that's exactly what he would do. He would lay back purposely and get that run.
If I'm Jeff Campy, crew chief on that 99 car right there, I'm going to tell Colin Brown, let him get a little bit of a lead, and then you and Frank come with a big head of steam.
Because all Michael Annett knows to do when they drop the green, I'm going fast as I can.
Go.
If he does it right, these second and third place guys, the 99 and the 46 of Frank Kimmel, Colin Brown could be able to get a run, and feel if they don't, I'm not sure they can pass the 28 because he's mighty, mighty strong once he gets going.
Wendy.
And to follow up what you guys are talking about. If the 99 of Colin Brown and Frank Kimmel go high, the 28 of Michael Annett, he wants to stay low. He wants to stay against that yellow line. It's going to come down to, if the 99, how much guts he has coming to the checkered flag. I do know the 15 of Billy Venturini is going to stay low. He's been talking with the spotter of the 28 of Michael Annett. They have a game plan. Also, the 40 of BRYAN CLAUSON has a game plan. They want to stick with the 28 as well. So it seems like they all want to stick with the leader. Who's going to jump out first?
You guys called it up in the booth. Frank Kimmel radioed to the 99 through the spotters up on the roof. They said to the driver, Colin Brown, Colin, Frank said he will stay with you. He wants to help you. He will be happy to follow you. Depending on how things shake out, he wants to follow. Don't worry about him getting on your flank. So these guys may indeed pair up under the Ford blue oval here in positions 2 and 3 to work around the 28, the Toyota Camry, the race leader. So as you mentioned, Frank Kimmel may not want the victory, but boy, what a big points day with a top 2 or top 3 finish as he's running right now.
I think they have a great plan, but I'm telling you, I would further or say, hey, 99, Colin Brown, let him go. Let him get out about 10 or 12 car lengths, because when we get there, we will have a head of steam and we can drive right by him.
Yeah, it's okay to have a plan and decide to stick together, but it's all going to come down to this restart and Frank Kimmel being the veteran. I'm like you, a little more communication between Frank Kimmel and Colin Brown may be the difference of trying to get outside the 28 of Michael Annett. We'll see what happens.
Michael Annett has been so dominant all day long. And now when he comes to the start-finish line, it will be 4 laps to go. 4 laps around this 2.66 mile super speedway. Green flag back in the air, back in the gas is Michael Annett. He gets a good start, and it could be to his demise.
This is their shot. When they get to him now, they need to get together and lay back a little bit, go up high, get a little space in between them.
Scott Speed had to check up and get on the outside of this pack.
Michael Annett, though, Rick, exactly what we talked about. The caution, the green flag hits us 4 to go. He says, I'm in the gas, I'm going through the gears and gone. Let's see what the 99 of Colin Brown can do with him once he gets back to him.
He's been awfully strong, but I still think those cars are going to catch him. It all depends on how much momentum they have when they get there. What they really need is Dominic Casola and those cars behind them to be helping. There's only the 2 cars there. They've got a little momentum now. I'm not sure it's going to be enough, Herman.
2 is not going to be enough. They really need cooperation from the guys behind them. They need to get a rush from the guys, Dominic Casola, Richard Johns, Billy Venturini, to try to make an effort here.
This is going to be difficult for Frank Kimmel, because right now, if Colin Brown thinks, hey, I've got Kimmel behind me, I know that he's going to stay with me and we can go to the outside and pass Michael Annett. Well, right now they don't have that run that they had earlier, so they almost has to be patient. Right now the 99's peeking to the outside. He gets back behind the 28. We'll see if they make the move going down the backstretch.
Yeah, he needs some space. He needs some space between those cars to get some momentum. If he just pulled out right now, the whole line would have to go with him to do anything, and they've already talked about staying with a 28, 5 and 6 cars back.
Single file line through 3 and 4. When they come by this time, it will be 2 laps of racing to go from Talladega.
I think one thing's for certain, I don't think Michael Annett is leaving that yellow line. Whatever they do, they're going to have to do it behind him, because he's pretty much planted his car right to that yellow line, which is a good, smart move on his part.
Yeah, he has done such a terrific job. First ever start on a racetrack like this and doing a terrific job. Led the majority of this race, and here he is, 2 laps to go with the lead.
Michael Annett out of Des Moines, Iowa. Started second on this race. His best finish 3rd came in Iowa earlier this year. Looking to improve on that today, and what better place than Talladega Superspeedway. Now there's a gap between he and the field. Let's see if they will reel him in and see if they can move to the outside.
Now they're spreading out a little bit. We're seeing some movement. Look at the 99, look to the outside.
Here comes Colin Brown. He's looking to the outside. Let's see if he's got enough to make it by. Frank Kimmel's going to look on the outside with him. This time by, they're going to see the white flag. 1 lap of racing to go in Talladega.
Well, the 99 really wanted to pull down to the inside. Now Frank's going to go to the inside with the 28.
Exactly the opposite of what Frank Kimmel told the 99 team. He said, I'll stay with you. The 99 went outside. Kimmel ducks to the inside.
And Kimmel said it's a little too late for a deal. He had a deal for the restart, but apparently trying to do everything he can. Every point right now critical for Frank Kimmel.
The final lap here at Talladega. Down the backstretch they go. Kimmel second. Michael Annett first.
They are bumping and banging all the way down the backstretch.
Look at how far Colin Brown has fallen back now that he's moved to the outside. Let's see if Kimmel has anything for Michael Annett at the finish of this race.
got one more chance to make a move here. It doesn't look like Dominic Casola is close enough to him.
Coming out of turn 4, through the tri-oval, Michael Annett in front of Frank Kimmel. Can Kimmel make the run on him? He looks to the inside. Kimmel on the inside, but it's Michael Annett who will win the race.
What a nice job on Michael Annett. All these guys up here running so close together with no problem.
Unbelievable how good of a run Michael Annett has. Dominic Casola, a 3rd place finish. Richard Johns 4th. Billy Venerini 5th. Amazing day for Frank Kimmel and that points championship he is hunting once again.
Yeah, Frank Kimmel now will probably just have to show up in Toledo, and that championship is his for the 9th time.
And Frank Kimmel made an awesome run. One thing over here at Talladega, the start-finish line is way past the tri-oval down towards turn 1. Frank tried to make a move, got about halfway up the side of him, just waited a little bit too late to try to get that run.
Across the start-finish line, it was Michael Annett and Frank Kimmel 4/100ths of a second behind Michael Annett when they went across that stripe. A relatively calm race here to start off this weekend from Talladega Superspeedway. We didn't see the big one that normally collects 10 to 12 to 15 cars. We did see a multi-car accident that happened when Michael McDowell got turned around. Our winning crew chief is now a Jim Trado. Jim.
With the crew chief on the winning mount. Boy, that Michael Annett certainly had it working out for him. You said stay to the bottom, stay to the bottom. It wasn't over till it was over, was it, Joe?
No, but I mean, the strategy there is you got to use the yellow line as your friend. And, you know, we had a good race car. I need to thank all the guys at the shop. I need to thank Bill Davis, Gail Davis, Terry Elledge. You know, it was a good day. We had a strong race car, and we came here knowing that, you know, we came to win. And Michael Annett, he's a real talented guy. He really showed some real strong moves there at the end, which I didn't expect him to have in his first Speedway race, but he's got it, you know.
You had a student behind the wheel. How nervous were you as the guy calling the shots here in the pits to make sure that car could make it to the finish in P1?
The biggest thing for us, I felt, as far as that went, was you know, the pit strategy, getting on and off pit road, and then clearing the traffic when we went back to green flag racing. And I knew once we did that and got in our fuel window that it was just, you know, smooth sailing, as long as we protected the bottom and made them go around us. So
the plan worked, guys.
It sure did. Michael Annett will be making his way to victory lane here at Talladega Superspeedway. His first ever win in the ARCA Re Series. Take a look at our unofficial results. The top 10. Dominic Casola with an impressive run. Richard Johns in the top 5, as well as Billy Venerini.
Yeah, Scott Speed, a top 10 in his first ever stock car race. Good job.
We'll be back with victory lane after this. The pilot number 28 Toyota Camry is in victory lane. Let's go down to Jim Trado.
And Michael Annett's about to get one heck of a bath here. He's obviously sweat through his suit here, but boy, what a wonderful race by this driver out of Des Moines, Iowa, climbing from the car, victorious here at Talladega Superspeedway. No doubt the biggest win in his young career. When I asked him earlier today, I said, who made the call? Did you call them or did they call you to get this opportunity? And what an opportunity you made the most of here today, Michael.
I tell you what, I can't thank these guys at Bill Davis enough for giving me this opportunity. You can't be in better equipment than this, and these guys have been great to me all weekend, and it was just an awesome car. They couldn't touch us today.
They told you stay on the yellow line, but Frank almost got you at the end.
Yeah, I know how many championships he had, and believe me, I was thinking about that coming off 4, but that line had been my friend all day, and I wasn't going to leave it then.
Michael Annett, the 15th different winner, guys, in 22 races this season.
Frank Kimmel comes home second, and it seemed like it was everybody for their own game out there. I know the 99 of Colin Brown went out, and you didn't go with him. What was the game plan? And you definitely stuck low.
Well, we did initially and helped him get up into second, and then I felt like he made a little bit of a mistake. He didn't have a very good run going into 1 there on the outside, and it kind of pushed up out of the way. And I didn't think he was going to be able to make it, so you make a choice. You know, you're 3 or 4 from the end. You just make the right choice, you hope. And I was able to get back in and get back into second, and it was a good run for us.
280 or 285 point lead. Congratulations, 1 race to go.
Yeah, it's pretty cool going back to Toledo and pretty much got us sewed up now. I'm sorry that Michael had problems, but we had a great car today. It was pretty cool racing like that. It was a lot of fun.
All right, looks like Frank Kimmel's wrapping up. Maybe another championship, guys.
Yep, Frank Kimmel will have to show up at Toledo. You take a look at the points through 22 races. Again, unofficial point standings, a 295-point lead over Michael McDowell. Kimmel will show up in Toledo. He starts the race, and he will be the 9th. Close out the show. Speed coverage of the ARCA RE/MAX Series from Talladega is presented by RE/MAX. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. It was Michael Annett who found victory lane, but school was in session for one other driver today, and I think a lot of lessons had been learned. Dario Franchitti is with Jim Trado.
Indeed, guys, he qualified within the top 10, but a motor change this morning after a morning warm-up changed the complexion of your race today. Tell us how you did. Give us a grade, if you will, as a student of stock car racing for the first time.
I'd give the Target Dodge a 10. I'd give the driver a 5, maybe. You know, we got to the front, or close to the front. Then I made a real mess of the first pit stop. I let the RPMs get too low, the power steering didn't work, and I made a complete mess of that. Pushed me back again, got back up front, went back to the back, got back up front again. But by the end there, I was getting the hang of it.
As a stock car neophyte now, as you've gotten through the biggest track on the schedule, you said it was pretty daunting as you flew in with your helicopter. How was it for 94 laps, 250 miles today?
Daunting's a good word. It was just, so much was happening. I was learning so much. To start with, I was drafting like I would in an Indy car. Then I started to sort of watch what other people were doing, side draft a bit, change the way I was, working, talking to my spotter, getting runs on people, bump drafting, just so many things to learn. And it was great fun, and I learned a lot. Not a great result. The team and the car deserve better, but I learned a lot.
What's your plan next week, Dario?
I don't know yet. I got to ask Chip.
He's smiling, however, guys.
A big smile for Dario Franchitti, one of the open wheel racers in today's race, making his stock car debut. Scott Speed, another one as we look at our unofficial results. An impressive finish for his first outing, 7th place.
Yeah, good job by him. Colin Brown did a nice job, was running second till the very last lap and got shuffled out a little bit. Still ended up with a top 10 finish, and Brian Clauson, our pole sitter that had to start from the back, ends up finishing 11th.
Further back through the field, Tim Andrews caught up in an incident early on. Michael McDowell, second in the points, had problems, was involved in a 5-car pileup. Trackside will be following us at 8 p.m. Eastern. Matt Kenseth, Travis Quapple on board there.
And trackside has got the other Sadler brother on it.
Who's that?
The ugly Sadler, Elliott.
That would be Elliott.
Yeah.
What an enjoyable race once again from Talladega Superspeedway. We saw 2 wide, 3 wide. We saw a few accidents.
Not too bad, though. Not too bad. Pretty clean race.
Very clean race, and a big day for Michael McDowell and a big day for Frank Kimmel. Kimmel will lock up his 9th championship. Michael Annett wins his first race.